Do it.
What's up,
It's so
everybody? I'm Markmus Prime, and this is our first Physical Words podcast. So we're gonna do some face reveals. I'm gonna start off. I know it's crazy. Y'all never seen this before.
Oh shit!
Oh my
So-
gosh, he's so beautiful!
Wait, that's what Mark always look like?
Yeah,
I never
right?
knew that.
Oh my
Man.
god.
Been your stream for like
Holy
a
shit.
year. It's the first time I've ever seen your beautiful face. Oh fuck!
Oh god. All right, let's all right. Let's go down the line. Who wants to go next?
I think I'm
Zane,
next.
because we already know what
Oh,
Zane
yeah.
looks like.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
guess
that's
we
true,
will.
that's true.
No, nobody knows what I
Nobody
look
knows.
Shit.
like. Well, here we go. Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
What up,
This is what
Zane?
it looks like. Here, guys.
That one girl says Bond looks a little greasy.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, a tiny bit. Just a little.
Oh my god.
Since Amari got his camera
All right.
on, you
Oh, Mario, you want to look Omari?
might as well go. You might as well go.
You want to go Omari?
I look like Daniel Craig. Hi, everyone.
Oh, Mr. Bond, there's a guy behind you.
Oh shit!
Oh damn.
Oh,
Hello,
Mari!
hello.
What's up,
Oh,
yo.
Omari?
shit.
Hey,
No.
Nice to see you guys.
Still looking good.
Thank you, thank you.
Yep, yep.
All right, Seth, I'll go after you.
Are you gonna volunteer me like that?
Yeah, that's how we do. Sometimes it be like that. What's up,
Sometimes
Ezra?
it
How
be
you
like
doing?
that.
What's up, man? It's a little dark. I don't have a light, unfortunately. So we have to deal with this dark shit,
You mean not everyone has a billion lights in their garage?
Hey!
right?
Urzo,
Also-
what up?
Ignore the camera information at the bottom of my screen. I'm using an actual camera. I apologize.
This guy.
I couldn't get
Alright.
rid of it.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh,
That's
God.
right.
Stupid.
That's right.
I just like your posters.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
there's
sir.
some
Yeah,
success focus on
dude.
you girls.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Oh damn.
All right. I will
Yeah, my hair
take.
is so
I
long.
will switch off my integrated cam
He's switching over.
underneath.
Just green
and
screen.
at the, let me stop the virtual webcam and then la. Second.
Suspense.
Right?
Suspense is building.
I know, right?
It's killing us.
Is the camera? Oh yeah.
These
Yeah,
reveals
turn the
took longer
HD
than it should
webcam.
have.
We're already having technical difficulties.
Oh,
Oh
man.
no. This was his
That's
plan
because I
all
had to
along.
be. That's why I had to be extra.
Feels Chris.
Yeah, extra.
Did you plug in the HDMI cable?
Oh, shit.
Is it going to a capture card and then to a switcher and then your monitor?
All right, guys, listen. Let's talk about this. All right, let's talk about this.
Shut off the ECHP or whatever that thing is for game capture.
There's no need for this
Right,
negativity.
there
right
we
now.
go.
Oh,
Zane,
here it
did you
comes.
tell them about your LED lights already?
Wait, what?
Your LED lights are like alternating colors, just in case people are wondering what's going on in Zane's
Yeah.
camera.
Yep. Yeah, they're
The face
alternating
reveal
colors.
on top of a face reveal on top of another
Yeah.
face reveal.
You're such a
Mhm.
fucking
Yeah.
troll.
Underneath the mask is another mask.
Fucking troll.
Gosh, he's
I
insane.
know.
Uh,
There he
All
is.
right.
There
There's that
Let's go.
Maganda ass motherfucker. What up, Dragon? How you doing?
Ass motherfuckers. All the Maganda ass people in this
Oh,
chat.
yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh man, it's one of the first times we met and we're not like punching each other in the face virtually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not trying to like beat each other down.
Oh man,
pretty much.
but we will.
Yeah,
with
Mark, your hair keeps
physical
going
words.
long. But, so,
True.
Mark, I can see how my hair grown over the years.
Yeah, I was like, damn. I still remember you from like having the afro, well, from
Yep.
the Lumpia set. That looks dope, dude.
Thank you, sir.
Oh man,
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're the best. Like I said, I look like my avatar, just not as
Just-
clean.
cleanliness is overrated, as you can see
not as
from
colorful.
everything behind me.
Yeah, I was
Your avatar is like
Also-
super bright.
I'm wearing my waifu today.
Oh damn.
Oh,
He got his
Okay,
waifu on
You
him.
wearing your waifu? I'm
Let's
showing
get
my
that, man.
waifus. Let's go. I'd like to see.
Yes.
Let's go.
that
And then
one
Amari
goes-
has his husbando.
Oh
And
yeah.
I got my
He's got his Husbando, his Superman logo.
This is my man Daniel. We play fighting games together. He lets me win a lot.
Oh man.
All right.
Oh,
That's-
man.
What's up, Blue? How you doing? Let's get into it. So, what got everybody into fighting games? Who wants to start off?
I guess Mark, you can start off since
I can start
it's your
off?
podcast.
All right. Yeah, that's true. That's fair. Oh shit! Damn. What up, Grad? How you doing? So,
That's what.
okay. I actually got Street Fighter 2 for my 6th birthday on Super Nintendo.
Yes.
And I was always into like martial arts and stuff. I wasn't doing them yet. I didn't start doing martial arts until like 6th grade. I was already like 11. But like I was watching so many like Bruce Lee movies and kung fu like films and stuff, and it really captured my attention. Especially being like super shy and like feeling super weak and being I was like, okay, so I was like, Chris is probably the only person here who actually knows how tall I am. I was actually the second shortest person in my kindergarten and first grade classes, and I was the third shortest person all the way up to 8th grade. So I was like, I was used to being like the tiny dude that like got picked on a lot, and like I just wanted to be cool and be able to fight and stuff. So fighting games was kind of like a way to like live that like fantasy, as all other video games were, like being the hero and stuff. And like I just connected with it, and I started playing fighting games. I had a ton of cousins. Like my mom has 13 siblings, I think, and all of them have like 4 or 5 kids. And so we have like
Yeah.
groups of like the small kids, then there were like the older teen kids, and then the adult kid that were also their kids.
And the
and
Filipino
like,
family. Yeah.
oh yeah,
Sounds
the
about
Filipino
right.
family. You know, it's not even her first family; she had a second family. And like, so I had a whole bunch of people to play Street Fighter with, and it was usually like all the smaller cousins, and we had this one cousin named Jason who was like in that mid gap between like close to the teen kids that would just whoop everybody. It just whoop the shit out of everyone. And oh dude, Big Preach needs adjusting for the is that 10
fuck.
gifted subs? Thank you.
Yeah.
Big Preach for that,
So,
man. Damn.
Let's go.
I'm getting
Yeah.
work.
Ooh.
Maximum Spider.
Do I have a cheer? There we go.
Nice.
Thank you.
Make some
Thank you.
move.
Big preach out there. But yeah, it was basically like he would
Maximum
kick everyone's
Spider.
ass all the time. So we'd all be practicing against each other to try and take down Jason, who could beat us. He literally beat us with one hand. He would take the Super Nintendo controller and put it in one hand and be able. He played a like.
Maximum
Like eventually we
Spider.
got which one had Akuma in it? It was like Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo or something, or Alpha. The Alpha series had Akuma.
Alpha had a Kuma.
Yeah. So like he would just stand there and
Maximum
one
Spider.
hand like Super Nintendo controller, just like boop, boop. Our hands couldn't even fully fit around the controller because we were all tiny kids, like 5, 6, 7 years old. And like there was like the
Maximum
biggest thing
Spider.
that ever happened was there was one time where we put all our marbles on me because I was the best out of the little kids to try and beat him, and it was like a family event where it was me as
Maximum
Ryu versus him
Spider.
as Akuma. And it was the only time anyone beat him, and we all cheered. It was crazy. It was insane. And like that, from then on, I've always just loved playing fighting games. Anytime I could
Maximum
find one for
Spider.
rent, or if I can convince my parents to buy one, and they're like, "Hey, get all A's." I'm like, "Shit, that's never happening. So how about just my birthday then?" And they're like, "All right, but you don't get a Christmas present either." I'm like, "All right, that's cool. As long as I don't have to
Maximum
try and get
Spider.
straight A's." Yeah, that's where I started in fighting games.
That's what's up, dude. I was trying to think about like
Maximum
I feel like
Spider.
when I started playing fighting games, I was also really, really tiny. I'm an only child, so I didn't grow up, and my entire family is in New York, but I grew up in Georgia by myself, just me and my mom. So like I didn't really have a bunch of people to play with. but then I met this one other kid. His name is also Chris, but he was 1 year older than me, so we called him Big Chris, and I was Little Chris. And we like played a bunch of different games together.
Mm-hmm.
But then, and you know, I know how this is gonna go, but let me tell my story, you jerks. Soul Calibur 2 was the first like fighting game that I ever played, and like I loved it, and I was good at it, and so like I played the hell out of that game, and then that led to games like Budokai 1, 2, and eventually 3, where 3 was that game that I was like really, really strong at, and people could not try me in Budokai. And then that became Dead or Alive. And so I played all of those games, and then in my school, we would have my tech theater teacher would allow us to put video games on the giant screen in the auditorium or in the theater. So yeah, so we would have like our own little like tournaments there, and like I would play a bunch of Soul Calibur. They would play we'd play Smash as well. It was N64 and Melee eventually. But yeah, and then we would do like so in old Soul Calibur they had something, and I think Tekken had this too. No, Tekken did have this. They had team battle, right? And so
yeah.
to do team battle is that, let's say we did a team of 4v4, we would have 4 actual players pick their 4 characters on one team, 4 actual players pick their characters on another team, and then they would then we would fight it out. You lost, then you get back, and your next person in your team comes up and plays the character that they picked in the team. And so yeah, and like so it just kind of evolved, and for whatever reason, I like my history with fighting games is that I've always been the person that people couldn't beat. Like that guy that you were talking about, that was
you.
Except for one person. I had one friend who I could never consistently beat, and he beat me with ease every time. Like it was annoying. It was like he wasn't even trying. And I would get so competitive, but that actually drove me to actually start learning the games so that I could get better to beat him. And eventually I did my first tournament, which was Soul Calibur 3, which I placed 4th in that in my very first Soul Calibur tournament. So, and then the rest is history. Like I love fighting games. I love competing, and I think it also comes from chess as well, because I was a chess brat, by the way. And then I dropped it, but this is another way of playing chess in the minds.
That's
so,
true.
yeah,
That's true.
That's
Nice. Damn. Yeah, it's like some high speed ass chess.
Speed chess is the best, man.
That's intense. Speed chess is intense, dude. It's hard to
love it.
watch.
I can never do that. It's too fast.
Yeah,
I'm just-
I played chess at like 4 years old. That's when I started playing chess, and I played up until I was around like I want to say 12. And I also was doing Taekwondo since I was 6 years old as well. So like like you, Mark, I think all of these things just kind of fed into me eventually just being like, hey, this is kind of cool. I like martial arts, and I get to beat people up, and I don't have any consequences.
Yeah. No one actually gets hurt from these things, and I can throw fireballs. All right, so let's hear from Seth. Let's see what got you into fighting games.
It's funny because like I have siblings, but like so my first fighting game was in the PS1 era. It was Battle Royale Toshinden, which we brought up like way back when.
Yeah, we did.
That was like my first fighting game ever. I remember playing my brother from time to time, but like I legit would just play the game by myself. Like I would play every character. I would just play through the game. Even if I lost, I would just replay the shit out of it. Yeah, growing up, like I said, I have siblings, but like I was the only one playing fighting games. Like I said, I started with Battle Royale Toshinden. I played a lot of the fighting games in the PS1 era. So I played like Bloody Roar. Do we count Bushido Blade? Does that
I
count as a
would.
fighting game?
Fuck yeah, it's a 1v1. Didn't they also
Okay,
have a versus mode
Just
too?
counted Soul Calibur. So.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, he's not wrong. So
He's not right.
he's not
He
wrong.
right. He right about that.
Continue your story.
Okay, so
The rage.
The rage.
So yeah, I played Bloody Roar, Bushido Blade. There was also a couple like other anime fighters. Like there was Dragon Ball GT Bout that was like a tragedy of a game. Let's be honest. It
Yeah.
was cool, you know. It for like the PS1 era, and if you were a Dragon Ball fan and you had that game was cool. But like in retrospect, the game was garbage.
Yeah.
Um,
It was.
Yeah.
Maybe not as much garbage as that Sailor Moon fighting game, but you know.
It's true.
They're playing that at Evo. I think.
Oh yeah, they are. They always.
Yeah, they were.
Dear God,
That shit was wild.
Oh man.
Then after that, when the PS2 era came around, I had a friend who I would visit like pretty much every day. We'd just hang out and I would go to the house, we'd just play video games. And his brother was really into fighting games. He played Street Fighter. The biggest one he was into was Capcom vs. SNK, the first one.
Oh, sick.
And that was one of the games that I was really into just because like I was also a King of Fighters fan from the jump. Just because like 98 was one of my favorite games ever.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, 98 was such a great
Oh,
game.
no.
And then when the PS2 came out, like 2000, 2001, 2002, those were all great games. And then I played him in Capcom vs. SNK a bunch of times. He beat the shit out of me, but that was cool because, like, you know, I was one of those guys that picked characters and just did special moves the whole time. I was like, yeah, I was like, oh, I have special moves. I'm gonna use them the whole time. I'm not gonna learn how to actually play this game.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like I played with him a lot.
Mhm.
And then I played Tekken. The first Tekken was Tekken 2 in PS1.
Hmm.
Then I played Tekken 3, and then I played Tekken 4 in the Was the PS2 era? Yeah.
Yeah, it was PS2 era. Also, big
Yeah.
preach. Rose Rev said, "Please don't tell HR, but you're a group of beautiful people."
Yeah. Yeah, that was my first Tekken. Tekken 2 was my first Tekken. And then from there, I just played every Tekken series. I
Yeah.
took a break after Tekken 4, just because, like,
Baldy, pass me a
I didn't play
sensory.
Tekken with
What, you think I'm
anybody
just giving these away?
other than, like, a friend of mine, but he hated the game.
'Cause I'm
He had the
not.
game, but he hated it, so, like, I didn't really play with him.
Big
He let
praise
me
cred for the
come to his
one
house
bit.
just to play it. But that was it. I never understood that. He's like, can I come over and play Tekken 4? I was like, yeah, sure. And then he would leave the room as I was playing the game. All right, guy. Like,
Damn.
yeah, that was
Sounds
really
shady.
weird. Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, it's weird because like all you guys have stories about you playing fighting games with like family and siblings.
Yeah.
Like, I literally played fighting games by myself up until like recently. Like Street Fighter 5 was when I started playing with actual people.
yeah.
So
Sometimes
it was
you
really
do that, man.
strange.
Like, I know I said I played a lot with my cousins and stuff, but I was like, you know, family parties. It's not like they were over all the time. Most of
Yeah.
the time, it was like me by myself, especially once I got to like high school, when the party started like die down, and it was just like, all right, I'm the only one that still likes playing video games. I'm not gonna think this is weird, but I'm gonna get called out here.
But yeah, that was really like how I got into fighting games. I literally just like played from like Valorant to Shinden on PS1 and just played a bunch of fighters after that by myself.
That's
You know.
dope.
Did
Nice.
Seth, did you find that you had an easier or harder time getting into like 2D fighters versus 3D fighters or vice versa? Because like I was telling with you guys, minus Budokai 3, most of the fighting games I played when I was a child and growing up and learning fighting games were 3D fighters. It wasn't actually until I went to college and met people like Omari and Myra that I started playing games like Guilty Gear and the old KOF games and stuff like that. So
I'm
that was
playing
all
2D.
yeah, like that was all new to me. I was like in the late teens by the time I first played those games. But it sounds like you played them for a while. Like, did you have trouble going back and forth, or did you find that one was easier than the other?
It's funny because like I guess because I didn't like know the games like I do today, it didn't feel any different to me. It was just playing a fighting game, you know. So like it was just me playing the game. I didn't really consider it being 3D or 2D. It was just like this is a fighting game. There's characters. It has special moves. I'm gonna press buttons and figure shit out, you know. So I didn't really know the difference between the two growing up.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Very cool. Actually, like thinking about it, because I went from 2D to 3D. 3D felt like it made more sense because by the time I played it, I'd already started martial arts. So it was just like, okay, I have to move this way and that way, and I can move around people. I can actually move like I kind of do in real life, except for these like electrics and these like nunchuck moves that I've never used ever. Yeah. So let's hear from Zane. How'd you get into fighting games?
Actually, it was through a couple of different occasions. For me, it first kicked in through this old NES game called Karate Champ. My brother had it for whatchamacallit. I think he got it like as a gift, like when we were kids or whatever. And it was like the best way to describe that game would mainly be like it's footsies galore because it was before combos, it was before supers or any of that other stuff. It was first to hit a point, then it's the next round. First to hit another point. And depending on whatever move you would use, it would either be half a point or a full on point. So it would be like an actual martial arts tournament type of thing.
Yeah.
Then came in again through Street Fighter, Super Street Fighter Turbo for the SNES. So I was like, how the hell do you do half of this shit? Like I'm seeing a manual when that used to be a thing with how to do a Hadouken. I'm like, I don't understand this. Like me as a kid, I'm like, what do these arrows mean? I'm not sure what any of this shit means right now. But what mainly was a huge mainstay for me for it was in between Tekken 3 and, to be quite honest, the group of people that I know right now. Because I spoke with you about it a bit separately, Mark, and Chris knows about it too. But my previous group of people that I used to play with, like years back, like during undergrad, whatchamacall, like we would end up like playing for our like we would play every now and again, like either through what is it, Third Strike or even Tekken. And what ended up happening was that one time while we were playing Tekken, no, sorry, Third Strike, we were like, I was playing Ken, I was like, I got so like really into it. One of them did like a super on me, and I'm like, how did you guys do that? Their response was, you'll like figure it out. You're on your own for that one. And I'm like, oh, thanks.
Wow.
That's cool, I guess. So we pretty much are like they were just completely tight-lipped. Like it wasn't like joking around, like, oh, like whatever, like you figure this shit out on your own. And I'm like, okay, I guess fine. And then
they were basically like, good luck, Scrub Man.
Yep, basically.
that was basically it. And then although the one thing that was really cool and redeeming was that shortly after I met another friend of mine through undergrad. He showed me how to play Christy Montero in Tekken 5. So I ran the gauntlet with those fuckers when I went back to their place. And then they were trying to completely die it down and be like, oh, well, like I wasn't using my best character, all this other shit. Like they completely died it down. It's like, oh, watch, I'm gonna go ahead and like pick Brian, and then she's gonna get stomped. And then they managed to beat me. And then they're like, see, there we go. That's how we knew it was gonna happen. And then they just kept on going. But at the end of all of that, whatchamacall, then it was through my best friend.
What's up, Caboose? Thanks for hanging out.
That I ended up meeting Chris, Omari, a bunch of other people who were also into fighting games too, and it pretty much just brought my it got me really into fighting games again. Like it got me super excited, got really into Tekken, and I'm like, all right, and then rest is history. Then now I'm part of this Physical Words podcast where all we do is insult each other day and night.
Yeah, pretty much.
What do you mean?
All right, man. That leaves you, Omar.
Honestly, I've been thinking a long time about this, and I can't remember like a time when I wasn't playing fighting games. Ever since I can remember, my older brother, he had Street Fighter. I used to watch him play. He did the classic like, give me the not connected controller, that kind of stuff. And like everywhere I go, I play fighting games. I play like almost every game. Like I love video games so much. I even work on video games in my free time. But yeah, it was, I'd go to my friend's house on the weekends sometimes, and we'd play Smash. Later in life, when I would go to like Barbados to see my family, the kids there, at that point they'd had like a Super Nintendo, and that's when I like picked up Killer Instinct. My younger brother and I, every time we got a fighting game, we basically just split the roster in half, and we would just go at it, and we would always split it in a way that was always interesting, right? Like I'd get Mario, he'd get Luigi. I'd get Ryu, he'd get Ken. I get Kikisuke, he'd get Soul Bad Guy. And we always just did it like that. Fight for New York was like one of his favorite ones that we played a lot.
I think you got a lot of
And
the
yeah.
characters there.
It was great. And like I said, and then like I'm not the most social person, so fighting games has always been my way of connecting with people. My friend, like that's one thing I loved about Smash was that like at every point in my life there's like a Smash game, and like junior high school it was 64, high school it was Melee, college it was Brawl, like, and then post college, eventually Smash Ultimate, Smash 4 came out. And I don't know, it's just always been like that. Even when I moved to Madison, that was when Soul Calibur 5 came out, and Persona Arena, and Marvel 3. So like I've just always just kept playing whatever fighter is out, and because of it I've always met like great people, like all you guys. And I don't know, I feel like I did when I met you guys without fighting games, so I owe it to them.
That's true. Fighting games is like an interesting genre, which kind of like really brings people like together in like a very different way than like any other games I've ever played. Like I'm not big on sports games really. That's like probably the one genre I don't play often. And I did do like a small Madden league with someone real quick. But like any other games I play, even MMOs where you're like adventuring with each other and like going through big ass dungeons and stuff, I've never had a game, anything like fighting games where I felt like I was actually part of a community, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like fighting games really helped. It like when I think about the friends I've made, it mainly all came together for me once I hit college, and like so many of the friends that I have today were based around two things. It was based around the Tales of series, which is an RPG series that like kind of like Final Fantasy, but it's a multiplayer Tales. It's a multiplayer JRPG. And like I played that with a group of my friends, but we also played Smash together, and we also played one of my favorite games of all time, which was Naruto Gekto Ninja Taisen.
What's up, man? How's it going?
3 at the time.
I was a big push Rose Red for the 500 bits.
Was it 4 at the time? It was 4 that we played?
4. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When I met you.
Okay. Yeah, so we had Gekto Ninja Taisen 4 in college, and it's a GameCube game. It's the only reason I actually bought a GameCube, and it was a Japanese game, so I had to actually get a it wasn't a swap disc, that was for the PlayStation. It was a different, I forget what it was called, freeloader or something.
Freeloader, or a bootloader or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and yet in order to allow yourself to play Japanese games on your American like GameCube, and we straight. And the funny thing about that was that Omari never knew what Naruto was, but that game got him to watch the anime. Because
you're stealing my stories, man. I was just about to tell that story.
I was like, damn. Also, I didn't know they had that for GameCube. I know they had those for like Dreamcast, because like that I got a dream. I think that's when I hopped over to Sega just for that brief bit until Sega consoles died. Rip Sega.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
But yeah, like that just that was one of the things, and we were godlike at that game. So and then we also played there's a Fate Stay Night fighting game that we had, and there was a Bleach Blade Battlers fighting game that we had. And so like these fighting games and these animes were all like at this pivotal point in my own life. All kind of came together at just the right time, because I was able to use these things to further my love of these animes that I cared about, but at the same time grow and play these games with my friends, and then that eventually became Tekken 6 and onward.
Oh, nice. Damn. Well, actually,
one of the other things I just remembered was like, when I went to college, and I dormed, so I was like I was like, man, I'm not gonna meet anybody. And like they would always say, oh, just go by somebody's open door and just introduce yourself. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. But I passed by a door and these guys were playing Melee. And that's like the first time I ever like went out and introduced myself to anybody. And I was like, hey, can I play? And one of those people in the room was Chris. And I always wonder, like, I was like, if it wasn't for Melee, I probably would never even if I wasn't good at it, I probably wouldn't have even introduced myself. And that was something that kind of changed for me. Like that was one of the reasons why I was able to meet him. Like I said before, like that's how I meet people, fighting games.
Did y'all play Virtua Fighter on Sega Saturn? I never had a Sega Saturn, but I did play Virtua
No, I
Fighter,
did not.
like here and there. I played Virtua Fighter in Shenmue, because in Shenmue they had a Sega Saturn.
I've never had a Saturn and I never had a Dreamcast. I think the last Sega console I had was the Genesis, actually.
My cousin had a Dreamcast, and he wouldn't trust us with the memory card. So my brother and I would turn on Marvel's Capcom 2, and you had to unlock Mega Man. So we basically kept playing arcade mode until we got enough points every time, and then we'd unlock Mega Man, and then we'd finally be able to play each other.
God damn.
I know.
Trust the
It's
memory card.
crazy.
I mean,
I wouldn't have trusted us either.
to be fair, so like Dreamcast had the memory cards that has screen and buttons, so you could play games on the memory card. That's and I go in there. Ah, damn. Oh, dude, Power Stone would be sick. Man, that was
I
such
love
a
Power Stone so much.
same. If there was a way,
I still never played it.
really? If there was a way to play it, that we could like on either a console or on apparently a motorcycle, but on Steam.
That was another one we had to play without a memory card. So it wasn't until like I eventually got Power Stone later in life that I found out there were like all these items that aren't there at the beginning. Like the step sword.
Yeah. God, that was Power Stone before or after Smash? Like the first Smash. It was after, right? Because Smash was 64.
After Smash.
Okay.
64 Smash, yeah.
I remember talking about Smash. I just remember the first commercial and being like, "Oh, that'd be super cool." And then like I went to try and rent it because like I didn't have enough money to buy games all the time, and had to like I basically learned negotiating with my parents, like giving up birthday and holiday gifts to get like a video game because it was like super expensive. But the only way I could play so many other games was like we would rent a game maybe once a month, and I was like, "Oh, sick! I'm gonna go get that game where you can fight each other." And then I I had no idea what it was called because I completely forgot. And I was like, "Oh, this is a Mario game that has everyone on the cover." It was not the game I was thinking. It was Mario Party, and I was like, "This is a board game. This is not fighting."
Mario Party was dope though. First Mario Party.
Yeah, it was. Well, we had still a good time. Everyone wanted to still kill themselves, kill each other while playing it. So, chance time, stealing them stars.
That's how I learned about chance time. Yep, Mario Party.
Oh my god.
Wait, so Zane, I got a question for you. Like, why did you keep playing fighting games despite those jerks that seem to want to turn you off to them?
I don't know. I guess I guess for some reason, like, because for a moment I actually did almost stop. Like, I legitimately did really almost stop. But something about like it was actually playing with a old friend of mine back in undergrad. Outside of that group, that whatchamacall that pretty much got me into it, especially because I went to this old arcade place in New York called Chinatown Fair. So we pretty much hung around there, and it was actually through him that I met my best friend Shadow. Through her, I met Chris because Shadow's his cousin, or Shadow is Shadow's his cousin. So, and then from there, for some reason, I don't even know how the topic of fighting games came up between me and you, Chris, but for some reason, like it just came up. We started playing, started getting into Tekken, DOA, all that other stuff. Blaze Blue eventually as well. Um, through Chris, I met Omari, another friend of ours as well, Rain, especially through Smash. And like it got to the point where it's like, all right, back in it again. I
Yeah.
guess I really can't drop this no matter how hard I try.
No matter how
Um,
hard you try, you can't quit the fighting games.
Pretty much. And it was actually through them that it ended up leading to whatchamacallit, through to my actual first huge tournament at Evo with Harada and
Yeah.
fighting that fucker online.
Fighting him on stream. Like that was
is
crazy.
wild.
Like I still remember when Chris told me, like, because we were working on set, and like eventually somewhere the fighting game topic came up, and I just remembered, like, I was like getting back into Tekken after watching probably that Evo, because I think wasn't that the same Evo? That was what, 2018, 2019? I want to say
2018.
yeah, that's the one that had the little Majin run too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And I was like,
Majin's
I
run.
remember,
Let's go.
I was at my homie's house, Adrival. I was at his place. We were watching Evo. It became like a big event because those guys, like, I played fighting games with them a bunch, and we watched some of the bigger events. And we were just watching Evo, and like I remember seeing, like, oh, it's Harada. Harada's fighting. That's crazy. Oh, against a Jin player, because this is before Marto came out, and like the only character I could play was Jin at the time. And I'm not gonna lie, I was half rooting against you because I was like, if Harada loses, is he gonna nerf the shit out of Jin? And that's the only reason.
Possible.
Yeah.
I read a lot of those comments on YouTube where it's
Yeah.
like, she was the homie. She took one for the Jin players.
Yeah, I saw that.
He must have lost a lot of Kazuya's.
Yeah.
Alright. That was unnecessary roughness, Omari. I need you to calm down.
Flag on the flag.
Flag on the play.
Unnecessary.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I like how you
remember.
snuck that one in there for no reason.
That's good.
Alright,
That was
awesome.
good.
Sorry.
We're talking after this somewhere. Don't worry about it. We're talking after this.
Funny
Yeah,
thing
that's
is
some
that
physical words.
Zay, you met Harada twice though, right? Because you met him at Tekken World Tour in 2017, took a picture with him, and then like literally like 7 months later, you're on this. They put you on the big stage versus Harada. Out of all the players that could have been like on that stage with him at Evo, you were like on that stage with him. I like that thing made me go crazy.
Wait,
Like,
so was that totally random chance too?
That was random chance because I remember I remember looking through my bracket when I was going through Evo, and then I went through the bracket and then I see like Godfather Harada, and I'm like, I feel like somebody's trolling and probably using his name or something like that. And I'm like, okay, somebody's probably using his name. Like, there's no way it's him.
Yeah.
And I see him fighting another dude right there in bracket, and then I'm like, all right, you know what? It'd be funny if I actually fought him, but I don't think it's ever gonna happen. It's just cool that I actually got to meet up with him, take a picture with him, and actually get my Evo badge signed by him.
No,
Wait, was your first match in the bracket with him, or did you play someone else to play him?
Nah, I played somebody else to play him. Because I lost to shout out to Caboose real fast and Marie because they were the ones that helped me get the
Hail Hydrate.
badge side real fast
okay.
and the picture. But whatchamacall, going back to it really quickly. I lost my first match. I forgot which player I was fighting. But whatchamacall, but then I fought my second one in losers bracket. And I beat that one. And I think it might have been an Eddie player, if I remember correctly. So I was like, all right, now I'm on to my next one. And then all of a sudden I see like Scarlet, like Scarlet stream, like stage with Harada. And I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, wait, I'm not hearing this right. I'm going where? So I was like, holy shit. So nerves kicked the shit out of me. So
Oh, yeah.
don't look at that video. I played at my absolute worst. Oh my god, I played at my absolute worst for that one. I was so fucking nervous.
It's funny because like I watched that stream and then it was hype because like I saw Haran there and then I saw you and obviously I didn't know you at the time, but now we're looking back on it and I was like, bro, that was fucking Zane on fucking
Yeah, seriously.
Colorado. What the fuck?
That's crazy.
That shit was wild, man.
That was crazy.
Small world.
So
It's
it's
not-
insane. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
you
no,
never know like how things. You never know how things are going to turn out. Like, there's no way you guys would have known that that person that was on the stage was Harada. You'd be playing Tekken with, like, you know, like a year or so later. Like, that's just crazy to me how life works.
That's true. Oh, I totally agree. Totally agree. It was
Damn it, Caboose, you found it, didn't you?
he found it. Caboose has the link in chat, y'all.
That real quick.
Yeah,
You probably
watch
got that real
everybody
quick.
pull up. Screen share.
Zane, like, I'm not gonna let this go. The only reason Caboose was looking because he was prompted to by a certain somebody just a couple of points up on that chat.
Really? Seth? Was that?
Me?
Don't
Not
hide
me?
your face, Breaker.
What?
Don't hide
No,
your
my
face.
account was
Oh.
hacked. Look, you see me on my screen. No hands.
Okay.
My account was hacked.
That was hacked. Get out of
What's that
here.
doing? Hey, he got hacked, guys. He got hacked. Twitch,
Maybe
Twitch.
it was Daniel.
Twitch
Hey,
cops, we know you're listening.
Yo.
Help this man out. Get his account back.
Asshole.
At no point in time did I see Omari reach for his keyboard, so it definitely couldn't have
Yeah,
been that.
exactly.
Can confirm.
Wow.
Can confirm. We have the video.
I never thought I'd see the day
Yeah.
that Steph would confirm for Omari. Holy
This
hell.
computer doesn't even have a keyboard, actually.
He's Seth is still honeypotted from last time. He's forgetting the part that we got betrayed. And he's just like, yeah, he's on my side.
Listen, the chemistry was so good yesterday on Chris's stream, we just gotta keep it going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, fair.
Yeah. Positive vibes, right, Chris?
Yeah, good vibes. Good vibrations.
No love. Got no love.
Oh
for
yeah,
you.
see, Daniel
It
said he
was
was already
nothing.
on it, man. D Money.
Yeah, see?
Daniel, that's not assuming. He asked if anyone had the link and then you posted it.
We'll just
Really a
we'll call that
coincidence.
we'll call
My
that
hacker asked.
convenience. You know what I mean? Like he asked for it and suddenly Caboose had it. And bam, there it was.
My hacker asked for it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'd be like that. You know?
Yeah, now that
Yeah.
yeah, and to pile on something Chris said, like yeah, fighting games even kind of got me into anime because like stuff like Dragon Ball Z or when I played Naruto, I was just playing the characters that I gravitated towards, and then Chris lent me the anime because he had the DVD box set bootleg, and I watched the whole thing,
Oh,
and
damn.
it was great. And now I watch
Oh,
every
hold on.
anime he recommends to me.
Let me
Chris
hit
over
up the
there
chat
like
real quick.
embarrassed. What's up? You embarrassed at that whole
Hey,
box
yo,
set?
Chris, this is for you, my guy.
Rip.
Bam!
he
Bam!
had the rip set already.
Oh yeah, he just had that right there.
Just Chris and I know how many episodes you can fit on
Continue
the
your story,
DVD.
sir. Continue your story about how you watched Naruto.
Oh yeah. I watched Naruto, and then Chris was like, "Yeah, I mean, you already talked about the freeloader, but anyway, and he's like, yeah, he's like, oh, I got this other game coming in called Bleach, and Bleach Blade Battlers the second, and he said you're not allowed to play it until you watch Bleach because I don't want you to get spoiled. So then I had to like binge watch Bleach during class and stuff like that.
How far did you have to watch Bleach for that game? Because I think I played that game.
Pretty far. Definitely the Rankar arc. It was like mid
There
arc.
are in that game.
Yeah, no
Wait, which
spoilers.
one?
But...
Wait, who was
That's
in that game?
basically like 100 episodes, right? Because you have to get through filler to get
Yeah.
there.
Oh
You
no,
can
you
watch
told no. Fortunately, because of you, I never had to watch filler because you just told me what to watch and what not to watch.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good.
I didn't
I
watch
was about to say-
any of these fillers.
That's
I
a
was
whole-
gonna say Bleach had so
Yeah.
many fillers. As soon as they hit the first filler arc, I was like, all right, I'm done watching this.
Yeah,
And then I played the
He
game
also
and I
had
was like,
the-
who's this?
he
What's
also
up?
had the DVD box sets for that as well.
Bootleg ones or the real ones? Which ones?
Hey,
which one is
Green
Let's just say he
and
had them.
Look, I have had a Crunchyroll subscription for the last 10 years, okay?
Y'all about to get this man
I have been
like
paying
He's been alive for far longer.
I didn't know there was another way, bro. This isn't an anime podcast. Point is, we can talk about this later. But I didn't know there was another way, and all of y'all know what the drought was like when you were coming up watching anime, where you would go and you would get a DVD and only have 4 episodes of an anime series on.
No, for real, for real. I remember that. Like, I remember going to, what was it, Suncoast, and that was the only place I could find like anime DVDs and be like, all right, I gotta plan out which one I gotta buy here real quick because these shits are expensive and there's only 4 episodes per disc. And not saying anyone was pirating, but at some point I might have seen some things thanks to someone named like Morpheus or LimeWire.
Oh, LimeWire.
Man.
It started with a Kazaa.
Yeah. See, someone didn't need that. He just bought the bootlegs. He's like, fuck it. I'm not doing
So I
this.
said, fuck it, let's go.
Fuck it.
I'll risk the viruses.
Yeah.
That's how I
Save
learned
the
how to reformat
viruses.
computers. Because every time I fucked up and like downloaded the wrong one, I'd be like, well, shit, gotta reformat everything now. I ain't got nothing to remove this. If I could afford like antivirus software, I could have probably fucking afforded the actual discs.
Well, you got to torrent the antivirus software too.
That's true. That's true.
Pro tip.
Pro tip. Pro tip.
Pro tip.
Learn it from Chris.
Hey, the point is, how many anime did you get to see because of me? And then did you not go and get your own box sets?
Oh yeah, I got my own box sets. I got a Jump Ultimate Superstars and kind of got every anime in that game I started watching because it was in that game.
Wait, they were the real ones though, right?
No.
Oh, never mind. Just kidding. Moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on.
How about I bought the blank DVDs from Circuit City. Does that count?
Yeah. You bought something. That's cool. Chris over there reaching into his like anime vault.
Bootlegs. Oh, oops.
He about to get like.
Ari Suzumiya.
Wow.
Damn.
Hey man, listen, Chris, we take those, okay?
We take those.
We 100% take those.
I remember I started watching Chobits. Like I bought the first 2 discs. I showed it to my friends, and then like I was like I didn't have money to buy the rest, and they bought the 3rd one for me, and then one of them got the rest of them like bootlegs just so we could all watch them together. And I was like, this is insane. I mean, it's a cool series, but how'd you guys get so obsessed on this? Oh man.
Oh damn.
Recorded G Gundam on VHS.
The Namco X Capcom PS2 game you got, Chris.
That's 100% authentic right there.
Yeah.
You had to
Show
watch
the people.
Chobits.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it has my handwriting on it because I was like, Chris, I really want to play this game. Can I use your PS2?
This is Chris' handwriting.
God damn.
Hey man. Once again, we take those.
Yeah, we take those.
Take those.
So
We'll go through this later.
one thing I'm curious about. So like, and not to straight call out Zane again, but it's also really applies because like when they were when your group of dudes before were like, get good, scrub. How did you approach training in fighting games?
Well, that is actually a really good segue considering
Segue.
what we're talking about. And then the zipper. Anyway, like how I went about training was whatchamacall. What I mainly did was I just hopped into there. I practiced that one combo that my friend taught me like over and over again. Practiced a couple of the other strings with Christy as well, just like time and time again. Did it against the computer because I didn't have anybody really in I didn't have anybody else outside of just that group at the time because my the friend who was showing me the stuff through with Christy, like we had conflicting schedules for like undergrad, so we could only meet so much. So mainly what I did was I practiced like either in arcade or whatchamacall, or I practiced like on whatever hard difficulty that I could. This was before I even thought about going into training. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. So that's how I went about it. That's how I ended up running the gauntlet against those fools. And uh, and the way that how I approach training now is almost very similar. I would just go ahead and just practice my movement, practice my combos in training mode. With Omari and Chris's help, I started having it where it's like I would get the first hit, but the second hit, especially if it's not consecutive, I would just put it to guard all.
Mhm.
I would have the frame data on just to make sure like what works with what. Is this too slow? Am I gonna get hit with stun? Um, whatchamacall. And then I would just lab out movement and everything else in treasure battle. Or just like yesterday, me and Chris would just have like a quick like rundown 1-on-1 between each other, like through whatever characters that we felt like practicing, and then just see where we went in that aspect. So yeah.
Nice. So, Chris, since you were in that 1-on-1 yesterday, how do you approach training? Is it the same thing, or you got like some extra tactics you got there?
Yeah, so when I approach training in any type of new fighting game, the first thing I like to do is learn combos. It's the least important thing to know, but it's the most fun aspect of fighting games for me. Like I come from the Devil May Cry lifestyle, and like doing combos on the fly, making them stylish, making them cool, like that was so much fun for me. So like that aspect of fighting games, once I started, because you couldn't really do combos that much back in Soul Calibur 2, but then in Soul Calibur 3 you had like infinites and like touch death combos, which I was able to do with Zhang Hua, which was crazy. That's why people really didn't like that game. It was not balanced and really broken. So when I approach trading, the first thing I do is like I'll find a combo that I like, and nowadays it's usually going on to YouTube, and before it was watching combo videos. Now it's watching like a pro play the character and seeing what combos they're doing. And then like I'll try to learn that combo, and if the combo is too hard for me, then I try to find one that's within my ability. So like I would always like tell Zane that my whole thing was consistency. So it doesn't matter if a combo does like 10 more damage if I'm going to drop the combo 50% of the time. I'd rather do the combo that does 10 less damage, but I hit every single time I do it. So that's where I start with my training. And once I have a combo, then it depends after that, the training depends on the game. In the case of Tekken, then like my next training was trying to practice movement because I thought that would be very important. But in like a game like BlazBlue, it was combo situations after I got a base combo. And in that game, it's like, okay, how do I convert off of an overhead? Which is when, if like in those 2D games, if a character is blocking low, then you hit them while they're blocking low, basically over their head, and you can like combo them. So how do I get a combo from an overhead? How do I get a combo from a counter hit? How do I get a combo from a ground to air and air to air? And like and make it so that I get it to the point where I can react, so I can recognize situations when they happen in the game. And inevitably, every time I first play somebody, I mess up and I drop those situations. But when I play people more and more, I recognize those situations and they become more instinctual as I keep playing. And so that becomes the next level of my training, is to actually play people, be okay with losing and understanding that I will lose, but recognizing that I will slowly learn how to react to these situations instinctually, so it just happens rather than having to like think about it and have that be a part of like the difficulty of getting these things out.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. That's interesting. Omari, I know you have like a pretty similar style to Chris, especially like seeing all the combos y'all do. So how do you train for that stuff?
Yeah, I kind of do a lot of what Chris and Zane said. My combos are never gonna be as intricate as Chris's, because I try to stop earlier than he does in that same process. Like I try to get those same hit confirms in for like the counter hits or the situational stuff, but then enough so that I know, hey, there's something that can be done here. I'll improve on that later, but just enough to kind of understand like this is something that you have to kind of look out for.
Yeah.
My approach actually, one thing I really like is the tutorial modes in fighting games. Like, Tekken doesn't have one, but whatever. And I like to go into those because I'm kind of a
He's not wrong at all.
mechanic. Yeah, I'm kind of a mechanics person, so I like to learn mechanics in addition to the combos and just kind of figuring out like move properties. For example, what focus attacks that Street Fighter 4 could do, how they could absorb a hit, but there were specific moves that could break them, and what that's called an armor break, and just kind of, it's almost like an RPG in that sense. But yeah, I loved going through that's kind of one of the things I go through first is those tutorial modes where you can just kind of, even though they're teaching you this is how you jump, and you kind of have to skip past those or whatever. But the other ones, when things get more intricate, like this is what a drive cancel is, like making sure that I have those mechanics down. Because
Nice.
I in addition to what those guys said, because that stuff is important too. Obviously, 100 damage combo does more than a 50 damage combo.
For real.
That's true.
Talking about mechanics and stuff. Hey, Seth, since you have the most like complicated mechanic ever in a fucking fighting game, why don't you tell us how you train your fucking infinite PG&E skills over there?
Oh man, it's funny because like when I think about training, I didn't really start learning. Like I've been playing fighting games like for a long time, but I never like played like mechanically well fighting games until like Street Fighter 5. And that's when Street Fighter 5 is when I legit learned full mechanics of a fighting game. Because when it came out, it was super hype because I like Street Fighter, but like I never learned how to properly play the game. So I learned all my fundamentals through Street Fighter. In that game, I played a complicated character. I played Vega for whatever fucking reason. Yeah, Vega is like it's the most honest character in that game, and I hate it. Like it's I go to rant about it. Anyways, I learned footsies through that. I learned spacing. I learned whatever combos Vega had, which wasn't many, to be honest with you. But Vega did have setups. He had Oki. So through learning the mechanics of Street Fighter 5 and Vega, I learned that was my fundamental. So when I approached Tekken 7, again I chose our character for whatever reason. I chose Kazuya for a fucking reason. And I did what Chris does. I learned combos first because I figured, that's the big damage dealer. That's what you have to do in this game to like, do the big damage and win games. But I also applied sort of the fundamentals I learned from Street Fighter 5. Again, footsies, movement, and all that stuff. The movement was different in Tekken, so it was something that was a learning curve for me. I think what's interesting though for me is that you guys have been playing for fighting games for a long time, so you already had a fundamental or fundamentals from previous fighting games. I didn't have that. Street Fighter 5, like even though I learned it, I didn't really like, play people for a long time. And eventually I dropped Street Fighter 5 because online was absolutely garbage.
Bro.
Yeah. So oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think that's a good point. It shouldn't be underestimated the value of actually playing another human person.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I thought you would say it's a good point that Street Fighter Online is hot garbage.
It's a dumpster fire that will never be fixed. But yeah, so when it came to approach training for Tekken 7 specifically, again, I learned combos first. I try to apply the frame data, but because like I don't have a long history in fighting games, even applying frame data right now is still a struggle for me. Like I'm still learning. You guys have seen this. People I played with who have been playing Tekken for a long time. When I first played them, I would try to attack on things that were plus for them. It's like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned all these things the hard way, but it's also just the mindset, like, this is the kind of like the trial you have to go through to get good at games. You have to get hit by shit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. To answer you, Grad, real quick, the reason Tekken has better netcode than Street Fighter, they finally fixed the rollback they have, because it was like a solid 3+3 or something to compensate for lag and frames and stuff versus the way Street Fighter is trying to approach it. And one thing I've always thought, like seen about Street Fighter and Capcom as a company, they always want to do their own stuff and throw it out there instead of taking any work that anyone else has done. I mean, you look at that with the RE engine and the engines they have, they could use, like they broke down and used Unreal, I think, for, what was it, Street Fighter 5? Because
Unreal.
Yeah.
because the the Resident Evil engine just wasn't there yet to be able to like support a game like that, and they didn't want to take that risk. So they built their own netcode that was rollback, but not great rollback. Because I think doesn't Street Fighter have rollback, or were they saying they have a rollback?
They're trying
remember.
to work on it. I don't think
They're
they
trying to work
fully
on
have
it.
rollback because it's still
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's still basically delay-based netcode versus like Tekken. I had no idea. No one knew till Harada was like, no, it's rollback. And they're like, are you sure you know what rollback is? And then they fucking fixed it, and we're like, oh, you do
Oh,
know.
there it is.
Yep, that's a lot better. So like that's one of the reasons Tekken has a lot better netcode than Street Fighter. And like after that fix recently, it's noticeable. Like before, we'd have a lot more issues where we'd like thought rollback meant using older dick. I mean, kind of. I can see where you can like see that because like if you have to roll back to an old netcode.
Yeah. There's a term for that too. I forget.
Yeah.
They've delayed based code.
Delay based is
Yeah,
the old
sure.
style. That's the old way. That's like
Yeah.
the only netcode fighting games had for the longest time. And I remember everyone being like, "Why don't we have a different style?" Because like Overwatch, for instance, does a type of rollback.
Yeah.
Dota has that. All these other online games, but you know, fighting games were just like, and there's a small like cultural explanation for it where like, I mean, they're in Japan and they're kind of in their bubble, and netcode works well because they're not that far apart.
Yeah.
So they've never had
Yeah,
a
they're very
reason.
close.
Yeah, they've never had a full reason to like have the tests to go to America or Europe, like to play someone there and see how the netcode is. Versus like
Yeah.
one of the reasons we see it in America is it's so fucking huge that if someone in California tries to fight someone in like New York, that's the same distance as like someone in New York fighting someone in fucking Britain.
Mhm.
Like, and yeah, you have those big gaps, and that's why we notice it far more. But yeah, that's one of the big reasons for that. Hold on. There's a
Yeah.
whole bunch of talk about Space Dandy.
Oh,
Is your
wow,
hair-
holy shit. It's just wild.
It's on my hair.
Okay. The funny thing
Wow.
is, I've cosplayed as Space Dandy, and that's like one of the like
Oh.
last times I ever cosplayed in my life. My hair was not as long as it is now, but no, it's not Space Dandy style. I don't have the pompadour. I try it, but no, my hair doesn't listen to shit. Anyway, since what's up?
The one thing that they brought up in chat that I wanted to just touch on real quick before we move on to something else was that the importance of how you set your training dummy.
Yeah.
So Straker was saying how he sets his training dummy to guard all for the second option. And that was something I learned slowly with playing games like Blaze Blue, where you have this strange combo system where it's like if you don't pop out, you could still be in the combo. So like, and it denotes it by like red combos versus blue combos. And basically what it means is that you have these combos that aren't true combos. But you
Yeah.
pick them. You're like, oh, this is comboing, this is great. And then you try to do it on somebody and they fall out of it and you're like, why is this happening? So then that turned into going into training and making sure that I set the dummy to recover the instant that the combo was dropped or the instant that it could no longer be a combo. And that way you make these inescapable combos that are actually true combos. And that was important going into Tekken, where you have these things that the difference between natural combos and like these other combos that aren't actually like that are things that people can block in the middle of. And you need to know what those are. You need to know what your natural combos are where people can't block after you do the hit versus the moves they can block in the middle of being hit, because a lot of these moves are then minus on block and then you can get punished. So I had that mindset going into Tekken because of learning it in other fighting games, specifically Blaze Blue, but even other games like Street Fighter and like all these other games as you're slowly like playing around in these training modes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Honestly-
it was Zane that mentioned the Gardel first.
Yeah.
But one thing, I always, real quick story, I remember when Chris was like, oh, I'm interested in learning Tekken back in the Tekken 6 days. And I said, okay, I'll learn it with you. but I think he let me borrow it because I didn't have it. And then I came back and I was like, all right, I'm ready to play. He's like, you ready already? And I'm like, yeah, I learned a couple of 10-hit combos, so I should be pretty good to go. And then I played him, and they weren't consecutive. And I'm like, well, that's weird because the training mode said they were consecutive, and I didn't have guard all on. And I was just like, and because when I was teaching myself the game, I'm like, oh, well, I have these 10-hit combos. Why would I ever have to learn anything else? And yeah, did not. Obviously, if you've played Tekken, you know that will not work.
Yeah,
True,
not at
very
all.
true.
Second training mode still say the hits are consecutive, so
No. The funny thing is, Tekken is the first game where I understood how to do combos. Tekken 7 specifically. Because I played fighting games for a long time, and I played against people, and like the way I trained was just playing the game in arcade mode. Because I was like, and like I wouldn't have as many on console, and I'd be in the arcade most of the time. And I'd just be in arcade mode, going through it, choosing which character. The closest thing to like actually training and learning moves was around Tekken 4. Me and my homie we printed out the move list from online, brought it to the arcade, and then we were just practicing like practicing moves against each other. I was practicing as Jin, and he was playing martial law. And it wasn't until like I was like, all right, let me get actually serious, like fully serious on fighting games, and it was Tekken 7 after watching the Majin run, where I started taking training modes a lot more seriously. There were things I did before, like I played in training mode here and there.
What, do you think I'm just giving these away?
Big Priest Rose Rev for the 100 bits, but like it became like I had to figure out how to do training because like I had no clue. I had no clue what I was trying to do there. I was like, okay, I can practice moves, but what does that help me with if I can't land them that well? So then my training became, and like I learned the stand, the setting to stand and then guard all for second action. That way I know if the next hit is an actual combo or if it'll actually hit in a string. So I started learning those properties off the jab strings and above Marduk's moves. From there, I started learning how to just do neutral and how to move. I started playing Treasure Battle, and I learned all the fundamentals from like I basically took what I used to do with a more informed approach, and I took it online. And like I'd meet the people that were like, all right, I learned combos, I'm good to go. And it'd basically them trying to fish out these the launcher as much as they could so they can get their combo in. And I was like, all right, I'm just gonna move around you and then jab you, hit you with these big ass strong moves, go for this counter hit, and that's it. That's all I gotta do. And I'd win matches here and there against those people, but then people that had better fundamentals than me would just totally destroy me because they had fundamentals and combos versus the guys that just had combos and no fundamentals. And then people that had better fundamentals because they've been playing the game for so long. So like you can even see this. I think it's some of my old clips on Twitch, or on my YouTube. My VOD YouTube has an old clip of when I used to actually do this. Then I went to a lot of locals, and that's how I started learning the game more and more. And it wasn't until about like months maybe later where I first got like met Seth, because Grad was like, hey, you guys should fight each other, and we started playing here and there whenever I had like when we did Tekken nights. And I mean we had locals because we're still going out to like our actual locals on Wednesdays, and I didn't have like this full set schedule. Then pandemic hits, and then we're like, fuck it, we'll do it every Wednesday. And like, hey, we got a lobby night, and then I was like, you know what, I remember this dude Chris was like, yo, let's play Tekken sometime, let me invite him real quick. And he was like, hey, can I bring my homie Zane? And I was like, yeah, sure, that's cool. And that's how, and then like eventually down the line, he was like, hey, I got this other homie that wants to play. And that's how we got like Omari in there. And in this whole time of like approaching that is when I first learned how to do a combo string in Tekken, which was like launcher. You can do a couple moves to juggle. You go to corkscrew, and maybe if you have like moves you can throw in there, you can do that. Then ender, and that became basically the idea of like the combo sandwich of like how you do combos. And my execution was not good, and it's still like not great to this day. But like I started getting a lot better with that and learning how to do combos in those sequences. but that's also the reason I'm not dependent on like big combos, as you guys like saw when we first started fighting each other. And I was all on like all these different mix-ups, and like my fighting style evolved to do that because I just couldn't do combos. And that's how that's how I approached all of training.
Yeah, I feel the same way about like with Mark when it comes to learning like the combo structure. I learned it legitimately in Tekken 7. That was my first like combo game. I mean, in Street Fighter you have like linked combos, but like it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not.
It is not the same. Yeah, I learned like how to actually combo in Tekken 7, and I applied it to other games. Like I played Guilty Gear Rev 2 for a little bit, and that was cool. Although it's a very different system than Tekken, but yeah, Tekken was my first game where I learned how to like actually do combos, which was pretty sick. It's way more satisfying too than Street Fighter for sure.
Yeah, when I played Street Fighter 4, so like I said, I wasn't strong at 2D fighters, and actually when we were in college, I bought Street Fighter 4 for Omari, even though he didn't have a 360, so that he could play the game and then I could play with him. And when I played Street Fighter 4, I felt very bad at that game, and comboing felt so hard, like plinking and like these link combos.
Fuck plinking, fuck one frame
fuck
links,
that
fuck all that shit.
Yeah, I just texted Chris this morning about I hate one frame rate.
But
Yeah,
Yeah.
fuck
fucking
for me, I
links.
can't do it.
Right?
I got a small brain, I can't do it.
The FAD thing in that game,
DC was like,
Yeah.
and maybe FADC was cool when you pulled it off, but it was so like if you had never done something that tight or technical before, it felt impossible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, I agree. Like, I remember I played Street Fighter 4. I did combos, but like not like I knew what I was doing combos. I was like, I know these are the moves here. I know I move my fingers like this, and if I get a hit, then I just do this and I end up with a super. That's it. That's all I got. So it would look impressive sometimes because I'd like jump in, hit them, get this combo off, and end up with like what was it? Shin Hadouken with Ryu, and they'd be like, "Oh damn, that was pretty sick," and I was just like, "Yeah." I don't fully know what I just did there. I just did it with my hands.
I mashed the directional pad, and then that came out. That was cool.
Yeah. Yep. It's basically my fingers remembered how to mash that every time, and that's how I had a combo.
yeah,
Yeah.
muscle memory, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think that it was King of Fighters that actually made my technical ability for combos go up. A little bit of Blaze Blue as well, but really much King of Fighters. Like playing KOF 12 through 14, and like Zane and I both did all of the trials in 14, which are ridiculous, by the way.
Yeah.
Not as ridiculous as 12, but like getting those combos down gave me the confidence that to like try harder combos in games, which is why like even though I know Julia's no Kazuya, Julia's combos were still very technical and challenging. And when I first picked that character up, I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do any of these combos. But my technical ability has risen because of all these fighting games. So like Steph was mentioning earlier how we brought in some of these fundamentals from other fighters, but I also think technical ability kind of carried over from those other fighters as well, because it's almost like a switch, like kind of ignited, where now the wall is cracked, so like the water can start leaking through as far as like doing combos, and it's not so like hard to see yourself breaking through to the other side anymore. And so like, but knowing that about my own like growth, I would be curious, Seth, how did you get to the point where you could do, because like you were talking about how like you didn't have all these other like kind of fundamentals, like I guess you might have like lived in like arcade and training mode a little bit more, but how did you bring your technical ability over to like one of the most technical characters in Tekken? Like that's a strange character for you to jump into like off the bat with like
100%.
real, like super high level experience when it came to fighting games.
It's funny because I feel like it was just me sitting in training mode for like ever, and then playing arcade mode and treasure battle, because in 2018 or 2017, one of those years, I was in the Philippines for 6 months, just with my parents, and the only thing I had was Tekken on my laptop. So like for 6
Oh, you
months,
poor soul.
yeah, I was
Hey.
literally just practicing electrics and his combos and like kind of wave dashing. I didn't really wave
Yeah.
dash back then, but I was practicing his electrics like left and right. That was like the only thing I did. I didn't really play anybody either because like I'm in the fucking Philippines. And for me to go anywhere, I was living in the boonies. Fuck knows when you're in the Philippines and you usually go to a family's house, you're in the fucking boonies. You're in the fucking like farmland lands, like 300
Yeah,
miles
pretty
away from
much.
everybody. And yeah, so I think that's where the execution I learned from was being in the Philippines for 6 months and mashing on my fight stick for 6 months. That's why sometimes when you hear my old stick and if you listen to some of Mark's old VODs, the shit's
Yeah.
squeaky.
You mean you weren't out there just like training against Dojin for 6 months?
Man, I couldn't even make it out there, bro. I'm also not gonna sit in Manila traffic for 3 hours. Fuck that.
That's true. That's fair. Man, only 3 hours? That must have been off time.
Oh yeah, you're right. Shit. Fuck. But yeah, so I think that's what's up?
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh no, I think that's where the execution came in for me learning Kazuya specifically. It was
Yeah.
just one being there for 6 months, and also when coming back, I took a break from playing because like there was no one really around me that really liked Tekken or any fighting game for that matter. It
Yeah.
wasn't until like I started streaming, and then I met Mark through grad, and we played, and then I tested my ability, and then from there I was like, okay, this is what I can do, you know. And then when pandemic hit, we did Wednesday lobbies,
Yeah.
and I played against you guys. I realized what I could do and what I couldn't do, and then from there it
Goddamn.
was just like a matter of learning to be better from there. You know what I mean? So I think that's usually again. A big part was being in there for 6 months, mashing on my fight stick.
So from my perspective, it was just like, all right, I'm gonna play this guy, this guy Seth, real quick, and let's see what's up. And this guy immediately throws 3 electrics in a row, and I was just like, oh fuck, I'm out of my league. Holy shit. I'm just this weird ass smart over here. Yo, this guy got 3 electrics in a row. Fucking PG&E and shit. I'm like, now I'm hearing this, and I'm like, wait a minute, what? What? I've never seen you tested your ability.
Can it be true? Nani?
I was like, what?
Yo, Seth is that anime character though. Like you were an anime character, Seth, because you roll up and people are like, I haven't heard about this dude before. Let's see. And then you show up and it's just like Doria, 3 electrics all in a row. And you're like, holy shit, this guy is super powerful. There's no way you can beat him. And then you realize he can't do them on the left.
All right, Chris, let's talk about this. Hold on a second. If you're gonna expose me, at least expose me off the fucking podcast.
No, we exposed
What
it
the
right
hell,
here,
bro?
right now. He has like the no, that's still an anime character though, because that gives him a fucking like anime character style, like what's his name, Oda
gonna
from
compensate
Yoapeda and stuff, where
Yeah.
like he was like, oh dude, I just wanted to go to what is it? Oh god. I just want to go to the anime stores that were really far away, and my parents put this one gear on my bike, and it made me have to pedal twice as much. That's why I pedal so like with this high cadence. You know, I just thought it was a normal ass thing. Steph coming in here with this fucking like, I'm a P2 Kazuya player. So like, if anyone's like, oh yeah, I got the advantage. This is fucking Kazuya's on P2 now. 3 electrics in the row. I'm like, what the?
Yeah.
And then like,
This
it's like
is
the
just how it
anime god
is.
that has like the one glaring weakness
Yeah.
that he forgot or just like didn't like care to work on and gets explained at the last minute. It's like, oh yeah, there's weakness by the way. Oh shit, I should have. Whoops,
Ah, shit.
my bad.
Dude, but like, you know, Demon Slayer stuff, like you're like that character that, you know, if you're good at one thing, be as good as you can at that one thing. It's like, fine, it's hard to do electrics on both sides. Fuck it, I'm gonna do electrics on one side. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be perfect at doing
So-
electrics on that one side.
So you're saying he's like that, like the lightning breathing dude that in order to
That
use
needs
his
to be,
abilities, he
yeah.
has to pass out.
No,
Oh,
no
man.
joke. Blue and I said that exact same thing earlier today. I can show you the chat.
Oh man.
Oh damn.
It's wild because like when I was learning Kazuya and like when I played you guys, I didn't even realize he was the hardest character to play until I watched like main man videos and like started playing like higher level Tekken. I was just like, this guy can do electrics and I can do like 2 or 3 combos. This is cool. And then like when everyone started leveling up, I was realizing, damn, my character's hard as fuck to play. Jesus Christ. Then I watched main man's videos. He's like, yeah, Kazuya's a hard character to play. I was like, oh really?
Oh
I
shit.
didn't know that. Well, now I know. Fuck. You know.
And see,
Yeah,
and you're not the only one because, like, so Zane, you also play like a super technical character. I mean,
yeah.
technically both your characters are super technical, but you can at least play Brian a little easier. Like, and you're dropping electrics now. I mean, and you helped me with the King of Fighters trials. So, like, what about your technical ability? Like, how did you like work on that?
Through pure dumb luck. But pretty much, whatchamacall, I don't know. I think it's because for some reason, like for me, I just have a tendency to really like I don't know why, but for some reason I just like really, really difficult challenges where I will just like sit there and deal with it. Like for a moment, I was actually contemplating while we were doing our lobby nights. Whatchamacall, like Chris and Amari know, like for a moment I was actually thinking about dropping Jin because I was like, do I want to continue with this character who feels so fucking difficult for me?
I encouraged it.
Yeah, Omari being the yeah, I can't even think of a good pun at the point.
She tried. She reached
Hold
for
up.
it.
You can't think of a good pun? Are you okay? Do you need some water?
Nah, I already
Oh.
drank some. Anyway, the majority of the puns are mainly Chris. But whatchamacall, but basically what it was is that like I was like, all right, you know what? Fuck this. I'll sit here, I'll try to lab out electrics for at least a week. And Omari actually doesn't remember this, but ironically enough, the thing that helped make it click with electrics was that if I press down and 2 at the same time, or if I trick my brain into pressing down and 2 at the same time, then it'll come out instantly. So I just gotta press it and like get used to the motions, and then that's eventually when it came out. Then stuff started. Oh, my bad. I accidentally had my mic away. But there we go. But pretty
Now I
much,
can
like,
really
long
hear
story
you.
short, it was mainly just a whole thing of like whatchamacall, like just labbing it out, pressing down and 2 at the same time or down in triangle. But whatchamacall, and then from there, like I somehow made it work. And same thing with Brian. Like it was like a lot of labbing, a lot of like just trial and error, just trying to make do with whatever I could. Because it's kind of similar like with Chris, where it was the whole thing of like whatchamacall, like if it's too hard for me to do right at that moment, just go with something that I can do right then, and then maybe slowly work my way up once I actually get to the point where I can actually do it now, or where it makes sense for me to do it. So yeah, I guess for me, fighting games is kind of like my Dark Souls to a certain degree. Ragnar the Blood Edge is the only one who didn't feel as super hard until it came to rapid cancel type of shit. But for the most part, actually no, Ragnar and Milla from DOA 5 were the only 2 that I can think of off the top of my head where it's like, okay, at least I can do a little bit of easier shit now until I get super technical. But I was like, God help me, I do this to myself.
It's interesting when Chris and I talked about like and Zane talked about this too about when you're running combos and like doing full damage combos or optimal damage combos versus like doing what will work, because like for Kazuya there are plenty more optimal damage combos I can do or high damage combos, but that shit is like another level of execution that I need to work on. And because I'm not there yet, I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking do that. I'm just gonna do the safe stuff until I get there, kind of like Zane, because like there's a whole level of execution when it comes to doing optimal damage combos, probably for any character, because there's a whole level, like there's a lot of stuff that you need to think about, like recovery frames for certain strings, and to implement another move after the end of one string, it's like you need really tight timing. Like one of Kazuya's things is like after a corkscrew, you have to hit back to one where he does like a high kick and then a punch, and then you have to immediately hit forward forward two, which is like it's like the lunging high that he does, and that timing, like the recovery off of the back 4-1, is really long, and to land that while your opponent is midair into a 4-4-2 is really hard. So like I don't do that at all. So I just do my regular like laser launcher until I learn how to do that shit. So it's very
That's
interesting that when everyone brought that up, how like we'll do the damage that works. We'll take the low damage until we figure out a way to where we can consistently do the high damage combo. I thought that was
That's true.
interesting.
Yeah, that's fair. That's good. I mean, even though I have like the most unga bunga character out of everyone here, like there's almost no difficult execution except for the fact that most of my moves are 2 button presses all the time. And trying to go to combo to do that, like the most complicated thing for a high damage combo for Marduk is like mid combo. I have to 1 2 3 plus 4 3 plus 4 1 2 3 plus 4 3 plus 4 to just to like extend it and push them further before I do the finisher. I'm like, I'm not gonna try and learn that. I might be able to do it eventually, but nah, fuck that. I'm gonna stick to my weird mix-up combo and be good.
Yeah, but I think that's interesting too. How like your skill evolves over time too, right? Because there's stuff you're doing now that you weren't doing 6 months ago.
Sure.
And same, for all of us. Like
Baldy, pass
Zane
me
straight up
some.
changed her
What,
combo
you're
that she
giving
was
these away?
doing as Jin when she first started doing Lobby Nights with
I'm
us
not.
to the combo that she's doing now.
Yeah.
So
Big
like
for the 100 bits
execution
grows.
does grow over time as we keep, playing and staying committed.
I mean, along that side too, not even just our ability to do stuff, but just even figuring out some new things. Like from my angle, it's I learned that I could forward dash to trick people to think that I'm doing the 1+2 throw that does the launcher, which is a very big thing for Marduk. And during the forward dash, I could buffer in a quarter circle forward and hit like 2+4 or 1+3 to go for the hard break into mount throws, which is just like, why did I never think about this before? But it definitely shows like how all of us grow as fighters, not even just technically, but like mentally, and like how we add stuff to our repertoire.
Because now Omari can at least tolerate Tekken now as opposed to flat out hate it.
Yeah, I used to. I mean, that 10-hit combo thing pissed me off for about like a year, I think. But I think I might be ready to say I like Tekken. I do.
To be
Lying.
fair-
He never likes Tekken. He's just denying it. Cut it
He's
out.
just denying it. He's just saying no.
I
Somebody
kind of
clip
like
that.
it now.
Omari admitted
I like
he
it
likes Tekken.
I
Somebody
do.
clip it.
Wait, do
Yeah,
you
it's not a
like
bad
it
idea.
or do you hate it less than Soul Calibur or more than Soul Calibur? Which one?
Yo, we weren't even talking about Soul Calibur. Why
I
are
mean,
you?
This is a serious question though.
Chris is right. I don't even think about Soul Calibur. Like, so it's hard to say. Just you don't even rate it. He's right.
It's not
Why
even
would
on
we
the
talk
list of
about
most
Soul
hated
Calibur?
games, yo.
Yeah,
It
no,
couldn't
it's
make
not.
it.
No, couldn't make it. Not interested enough to draw passion.
Hey, okay, so I got something for you in the chat, but don't read it though.
I mean, okay, so
Oh my God.
I know. We all do a little bit of Soul Calibur bashing here and there, except for Chris, who
Yeah.
loves the shit out of it. I will say that Soul Calibur 2, like, it's interesting to hear that's your first fighting game, Chris, because I mean, I remember that was one of my favorites in the Namco arcade at Southland Mall, where I did a lot of the fighting game playing I was doing, especially that Conquest mode. That shit was dope, and that it basically like. That's like 3D games, which like closer to my like skill level because I didn't have to really know combos. And then I also learned how to play Maxi from just button mashing and remembering what I was doing over time. And then suddenly I just became really good with Maxi because I actually knew what I was doing, like on a small level. And it's sad about 3, 4 was okay, but like 5 was all right. 6 is. It's better. It's better. I'll say it's better. But like, what the fuck is that 7-star Maxi shit? Why do I have to worry about what stance I'm in to do a hit to get these 7 stars? Oh, is that a
What is that? What is that card?
hold up?
Card game?
So back when I was part of the Madison
Nice, Angel,
Soul
nice.
Calibur community, they had like these mini prizes. So I got a bunch of like Soul Calibur swag.
Oh, that's sick.
I guess some of these people, yeah, that's Talon, right? Yeah.
Oh shit, that's Tom, yeah.
So I just wanted to show kind of these off because I actually have a lot of Soul Calibur stuff because they would have like raffles for everybody who would join, and since I went like almost every week, I just eventually got these like Soul Calibur. There's Mitsurugi right there.
Oh yeah.
Trading
That's
cards.
sick.
Was there a trading card game for Soul I had no idea.
That's a really good part. Oh, good thing they did for Soul Calibur.
Oh, 3, that's why.
Sorry, Chris.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Sorry, Chris. Too much?
You know it's true. You love Soul Calibur, but 3 was one of the worst ones.
Oh yeah, no, 3 was one of the worst ones. Soul Calibur's had a rough time. Like, unfortunately, it is a series that kind of peaked at 2 and has been trying to capture that. It's trying to capture that magic all over again. And like, I like 6, but yeah, it's hard to like try to recommend people to play it because they added a whole system that automatically blocks anything and everything, and then takes you into a rock paper scissors thing, which people don't like. They'd rather not have it. It's like Straker doing wake up supers in Tekken. People hate that shit. So
or fucking spring kicks, right?
yeah, right.
It feels so. It feels so bad getting hit by those. Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah, because I read in the chat, but flat lines don't peak. So
That's true. That's in chat.
Yo, oh
I
my God.
mean, that's basically saying that it's been at the same level the whole time. But I'm pretty sure. Just
me a sensor beam.
And also, Straker, you're wrong. Flatlines do peak when you're dying or when you're trying to come back from dying.
get that KG.
the last breath scene.
Clear. Soul Calibur.
Oh man, big Preach Rose rep for the 300
It
bits.
didn't work.
Soul Calibur.
I tried it.
Jimmy, this is a Tekken podcast, I'll have you know. I think we should be keeping the topic on Tekken.
No, we fighting games. It's just fighting games. This is a fighting games podcast. We're doing all that.
Had a dark series too, like a dark era for it too, right? But it was significantly shorter than Soul Calibur's.
You know, it'd be interesting if Chris became the streamer that's kind of like, how Maximilian Dude is all about that bring KI back thing. Chris is on Save Soul Calibur. That's his whole cause.
Yeah, next podcast, and more of my Soul Calibur swag. I'll present it.
Nice. Oh man. So actually, here's a good question. Like, since we've all played a lot of fighting games and like developed like ways to train, how did you develop like how you like to play? Like your style of playing and what you prefer to do? Because I mean, Seth's over there with the like choosing the most technical characters ever. Like, what happened there, Seth? Why did you decide to go super tech, like the most complicated technical characters ever?
I think Chris had it best when he said I was a masochist. No, it's funny though, because like I remember when we were talking before, not on a podcast, I think it was on stream, but like I was trying to figure out my playstyle, especially playing Kaz, because Kazuya, like his playstyle is literally like knockdown and then 50-50. So it's like you play defensively, you get a knockdown, then you 50-50. So it's like defensive, and then you go super rush based.
Yeah.
And main man says he's momentum based, which is 100% true. So like developing the style that I play, it's weird because I don't know if I have a style. I kind of cater to how the character plays.
Okay.
So like when I play Heihachi, he's more aggressive based. He's more mid highs mixed up with the lows, and then combo once you get a launcher. He's very different from Kazuya in that manner. And then when I play Devil Jin, it's like I'm playing footsie. That's what I'm playing. I'm playing the neutral game with Devil Jin.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't have a particular playstyle. Like I haven't developed my own. I kind of figure out what the character has as far as tools, and see what other people are doing, and then play based off of that. I try to, I guess, if anything, I try to play to the character strength.
Okay. Cool.
That's just how I would kind of categorize how my playstyle.
Very interesting. Let's go with Zane. What's up? How did you discover how you like to play the game?
Angrily.
Yeah, like angrily. But yeah, like I'll be honest, I'm not really sure because I never could quite pinpoint what my playstyle is. Because I feel like it fluctuates depending.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize it, or at least I especially didn't realize it until Seth said it. When it's like I have like a different tempo from like when I play as Jin compared to when I play as Brian, or even as Armor King, and I'm like, I never realized that.
The day one Armor King.
That's very true. That's very true.
So I never really know, or I can never really pick it up. So
Well,
I don't know.
Zane,
It just depends on the character too.
Zane, like one of the things though that I find interesting is like just thinking outside of Tekken, for instance, like the characters you might play in like Blaze Blue, for instance. Remember how you played Ragna and then you started picking up, oh my god, Kagura? Kagura. And Kagura seemed like a character that was not your playstyle because he was a charge character in a very heavy rush down game. We're also thinking about like Street Fighter, where you have charge characters, zoners, and you have rush down, and then you have like the balance character archetypes, like that also is the character you choose or the way you choose to play those characters kind of goes into your playstyle as well. And so, like in the case of Kagura, that was a surprise for you, right? Like, what made you play Kagura, even though he seemed like he was, because you didn't want to play Kagura because you thought he was against the way you normally like to play, which means you have kind of an idea of like how you like to play. So, what made you choose Kagura in spite of that?
You look cool.
One thing I'll say is that Zane's very faithful to her characters. Like, once Zane decides
Pretty much. Sorry, 1 second.
she'll go through the thick and the
Yeah, that's cool. You know, we love character loyalists because we know one here who isn't loyal.
He's still 7-7 over there. So Chris, what made you want to drop Asuka and go to Julia? But no, what makes you choose the style of characters you like, Chris?
Asuka.
Asuka, who's
Who's
that?
that? I didn't know she was in Tekken. I thought he was.
You're muted.
What's that word?
Words. Physical words.
Physical words.
Physical words.
We have to have a lot of them. So here's my style of play. Like my actual style of play is trying to get you to do what I want you to do. Like I hate playing players who press buttons all the time because my style of play is better suited towards people that want to respect what I'm going to throw out. Like I want them to be worried about. I can't look at the chat.
He looked at the chat.
But like, I want you to be worried about some of my scarier options, which are based off of mix-ups. Like I love 50-50s and I love like overheads and overhead combos and stuff like that. So like, my style of play is really based around trying to get somebody to respect my options so that I can start playing that mix-up game. So if I play somebody that's button heavy and they don't respect what I'm doing, then I'm not having as much fun because I'm not able to get them to start doing the things that I want them to do. And, like that's part of, and that comes from like my chess background, which is basically setting people up so that they do the thing that you want them to do so that you can lead them to checkmate. And like, much of my playstyle is, okay, if I have a very dangerous overhead, I need you to block low. If you're not blocking low, then I can't do it. So I gotta keep training you to block low so that now I can do this other scarier stuff. And that overall is my playstyle, but when it comes down to like zoning, rush down, charge characters, I like being able to rush down. I like being able to get in your face so that I can do those combos. Asuka, since we brought her up, is very anti that play style. But the reason that I picked up Asuka initially was because she was easy, and I was trying to learn Tekken 6. because I didn't know how to play the game. And because like the first character I played was Raven, and I was like, okay, I can't play Raven. So then the second character I played was Zhao Yu, and I was like, okay, this is too much right now for me. So then the third character was Asuka, and Asuka was simple. She had very simple launchers, very simple combos, and she was simple to play, and that worked for me to learn the game. But she is very anti my play style, which is why, as I kept going, I started playing her less and less, because the first time when I actually picked up Zhao Yu, I said to Omari, Zhao Yu seems more fun to me than Asuka, and I think it's because the character fits more with my style of play than Asuka does, even though I still like Asuka as a character.
Interesting. That's very interesting, because the mentality that you and I have as players is pretty similar. Because I want to be able to do the things I want to do, and I have to make sure that I condition other players. Like Angel said in chat, he said conditioning, and that's basically a lot of my style. Is like I like to try and force conditioning so that I can get the mix-ups I have. I can do a lot of the punishes, get the counter hits. And that's also why Asuka was a bit my style too when I was playing Jin and Asuka when I was first started off in Tekken 4. And it's interesting how we both approach that differently, where I'm great with people that will not stop pushing buttons, because I can start reading the rhythm there and then start hitting pokes in to punish and make them stop and start to rethink what they're doing. Then that forces them to come down into my rhythm. And the best feeling in the world is when someone's coming at me and all of a sudden I hit them with a counter hit on low, I trap something out of nowhere, and then I hit them into a mix-up combo and get them. They're like, he downloaded my brain. He downloaded my fucking brain. And you get to see a lot of panic in those types, in those senses, where I just kind of shifted their whole brain mindset on how to push buttons and force them into the, okay, I have to respect coming at this guy now because apparently he knows everything I'm gonna do.
Right.
Yeah. And that's actually why that's how I found my style. And it wasn't until catching people on counter hits. Asuka's was it down 3? Where she does the sweep and catches the leg, flips over, and does the ankle break. That was my favorite thing to do to end matches, to end rounds and stuff with.
Yeah, I think it's interesting the way you talked about that. I think that's a prime example of what you were saying, Mark, about your playstyle. It showed in our first to 10. It showed that when you figure out someone's rhythm, you know how to go in on them. And it showed our back and forth. And I think that just exemplifies it really well. So if you want to watch that, you'll see exactly what he's talking about in that first to 10. Because it happened, 3 times? Where there was a stretch where I won 3 in a row, and then you figured me out, then you won 3 in a row, then I figured you out, and then I won 3 in a row. Oh man, that shit was intense. But yeah, that's a perfect example of his playstyle if you watch that first to 10. So
drop a link in chat, man. Drop that link.
Man, I gotta do work. What the fuck, man?
I mean, you can do it while Amari explains how he found his style of play. While he drops Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
Baldy passion censored.
Oh damn! Big preach for the 50 bits, Rose Rev.
He's out of the content.
Because I'm not.
Just killed Bond.
Yeah, so I think my play style kind of comes from strangely life experiences. When I talk about splitting the roster with my brother in all these games, that's why I think whenever fighting game I play, I end up trying to play as much characters as possible, just because so that we could have all these different matchups and create all these dream situations. We would play Lucas versus Ness, and we would call it the PK showdown. Because we were very big into that whole WWE kind of matchup, selling the fight and telling a story behind the fight. Me and him actually just watched Royal Rumble earlier before it came on, and I think the other thing is I tend to be kind of a safe person in regular life. I don't like to take chances, so when I game, I take a lot of chances, and that's kind of where my play style comes. And even when I gamble, I like to go to the casino and play Hold'em. Is also some, I like high risk, high reward. So a lot of time I'll go for higher risk things, and that's why you guys will see the supers and the spring kick, because if I'm trusting my instinct, then I'm gonna go for it because, and yeah, it's punishable, but I don't want to just do safe things in a video game because that's kind of my identity when I play games. I'm a risk taker, and then I think the last thing I'd say is probably, I was thinking about kind of like the Pokemon days where you do fire versus grass and grass versus water, water versus fire, and how like I basically have like two modes when I play fighters. I have attack and counter attack. Like I'm kind of always pressing a button because if I think I know what you're gonna do, and I think, well, what's the counter to that? I'm just gonna go for the counter. Like, and it kind of fits my risky playstyle because I could just wait and because I don't know, but I'm like, oh, I think I know. Let me take a chance here, and that's how I play. I learn like what the counters are to things and how to deal with them, and you probably won't see me blocking that much because I think that I know to counter attack, and that's what I'm gonna do.
I mean, you can definitely see that in our first to 10. It's real, like, and it's interesting because like you do have the constant pressure, which I would normally like, except you have a weird your rhythm just changes back and forth, and you have so many different places where you throw something that's super risky in that does get that counter hit, and that throws me the hell off. Like I'm like, oh yeah, he's gonna do this. That is not what I thought he was gonna do. Now I got counter hit. Oh, there's the big combo, and now I'm on a wall. Awesome.
Yeah. And that comes from I think it was Street Fighter Alpha 3. When you start around, it says go for broke, and that was something that like was instilled to me young. And I always go for that. It was either Alpha 3 or SNK 2. I can't remember, but yeah.
I definitely also. Oh, what's up?
I was gonna say, I think that's another cool thing is what we're able to learn from each other as well, which also adds to our styles. Because I was never a frame player. I aware of frames, but even in Tekken 6, I was aware of frames, but I didn't like really go in depth on them. But then with this game and with Omari, like he turned me into a frame player where I pay attention to what the frames are, the pluses and the minuses, and how to do frame traps, because that was never a part of my playstyle before. But as you guys have seen recently, it's become a part of my playstyle. Also playing you guys is what trained me for throw breaks. Because that was something that was like one of the weakest parts of my game. But playing you guys got me to change that, and now it's like a part of my game plan is basically to never get thrown. So like I always have my hands at rest on the buttons that will allow me to break a throw. If I get mixed up, fine. If I see the throw coming or if I see the animation for the throw, I want to be pressing the button to break it. So like another thing I thought was really cool.
That's definitely a cool way to do it. Like, I mean, it's also one of those things where I know sometimes it might seem to like everyone else we're just like picking on someone for finding this weakness, but it definitely helps train people for those things, and that's one of the things I like to find when playing anyone else. What happened to Mr. Bond? He fell. He dropped.
Yeah, I'll bring him back.
He stay chilling, bro. He stay chilling.
I wonder if I can put this mask on him that I had before.
Zane had to step away. She wasn't feeling good, so.
All right. Zane will be missed. Hopefully she feels better before the next Physical Words podcast.
Yeah.
Exists. There we go.
Yeah, I think another way to kind of think about that identity thing when you talk about fighters is like, what would you be upset at if you lost? And what like it's one thing to lose. Everybody's expecting to not always win all the time. But if you lost and there was something that didn't happen in that match, what would make you upset? And I think for me, it's like not putting it all out there, and that's why I put it all out there when I play, or try my best to. But some people will be like, "Well, I don't want to do something stupid. I don't want to drop a combo. Like I'll if I lose, but I got my combos out, then I'm fine. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. I don't want to get into my own head. If I lost because I was like overthinking things, you know what I mean? And that kind of drives your identity, because I guess your identity is always going to be driven away from the things you don't want either.
That's fair. That's true. Like for me, especially like off the first attempt against Chris, I wasn't executing the pretty easy moves that were on my Unga Bunga ass character. My execution just felt full on off, and like I couldn't get the 3+4 I wanted. I can get into the mix-ups I wanted. And like the only other thing other than like dropping that kind of stuff is if I lose to some kind of gimmick that I should be able to adjust to, and I just didn't adjust to it in time. That's the other thing that like can get me annoyed and like leave that moment in my head, which is good because later I'll be like, oh yeah, I don't want to be hit by that over and over again. And then my brain remembers, okay, this is what I do in that situation. Yeah, those are the basic two things that makes me feel like, I didn't play well enough, and it just gets to me.
Yeah, I like that. That's another similarity between the two of us, Mark. When I was first starting, because I was quote unquote the big dog on campus where I came from, losing was not something that I was willing to do or even liked or like could see the value in at the time. And then it was when I got to college and got to start playing people who were just as good as me, if not better, that I really started to appreciate the value in losing. And I stopped getting like it was a transition, but I stopped getting so mad about me losing and would start getting more annoyed with me not being able to adjust or to make better decisions while playing. So rather than making it about the opponent, like my dissatisfaction relied solely on myself and the expectations that I put on myself to play better. And if someone just outplayed me, I got to the point where it's like, okay, I got outplayed. That's fine. It happens. This person's just better than me. But then if I play somebody that is doing gimmicks or things that I should be able to adjust to, or things that I just haven't seen before, and they're taking advantage of my lack of knowledge, that frustrates me because I'm like, okay, I see myself as somebody that can recognize patterns in myself or in others. And if I'm recognizing a pattern, but I'm not doing anything about it to change that pattern, that is something that makes me annoyed and will make it so that as soon as I'm done with that matchup, I'll go right into the lab and try to figure out how to make it so that this thing doesn't happen to me again. But yeah, I really appreciate that over time, the way that I looked at losing was more as a place of losing shows you where the holes are. It shows you where you still have to learn and where you still can grow. And it actually helps make your gameplay better overall anyway than your game would be if you just were winning all the time. You would have no knowledge about how you can actually get better or improve, which is also very true about life in general, which is why I love fighting games. It's analogous with life in general.
And I think for me, what Chris said was actually like on point to what I was thinking. I think when we first started, like I was just kind of electrocuting everyone to death. But as our levels got better, everyone was beating me, and it's just because it's just our level of play got higher. And so when I started losing, and I was in that rut, and I was telling you guys about it, I was like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. That was my mindset shift from why am I losing to what can I learn from losing. And so I really took the time to think, okay, well, I'm not getting worse. I'm literally in the same place. Everyone just got better. It's just now I need to figure out, this is the character that I chose. This is the tools that I have to work with. What am I missing? What am I doing wrong? Or what am I not looking at? What am I missing, essentially, from every matchup? And that's when I started thinking about, okay, I need to work on, 1, my fundamental for the game. 2, how to play my character at a better level. Execution, all that stuff. And then after I adjusted all of that, what annoyed me the most when I do lose is not knowing stuff. Like when I played Chris in the first of 10, I got mad because there were things that he told me that was punishable that I didn't punish. And it's like, I should know that stuff. I want to be like, if we're gonna do, if I'm gonna do a first to 10, I want to go in prepared, knowing that, I know what to do in certain situations or when they throw certain moves. So I think that's what I tend to do when I lose. I don't get mad at losing anywhere, whether I play you guys or anyone else. I just like, okay, well, what went wrong? What can I do better? What did they do that I didn't know about? And I'll do what Chris does. I go to, I'll rewatch the match first of all to see what they did. And that's what I like about the Tekken replay systems, that you can actually choose which side you want to see, whether it be first player, second player, and you can see what inputs they made. So then you go in training mode, say, okay, well they press down forward, 3 or some shit, and then you go in the training mode, and then you make the computer do that on that character. Then you have the frame data, and then you test out, can I sidestep this? Is it a low? Can I, when can I low parry it? Do I have a move that low crushes it? You know what I mean? So yeah, everything now from that point on is just a learning experience. Whether I win or lose, it doesn't matter. It's always just a learning experience for me. So it's very interesting.
So are you pressing that like save match button after like a lot of your matches? Because I forget to press it all the time.
All right. Okay.
What?
Sorry.
What? It was a question.
No, like, because it saves your last 30 matches. So
Yeah.
I just watch all of them, depending on who I play. There's some players where like, well, obviously in Green Ranks, it's like in Green Ranks, it's a lot of gimmick players.
Mhm.
So like they're doing gimmicks, and when you figure them out, it's just kind of like they move on to the next one.
Yeah.
But when I do sets with people, like in the next few videos that I'm putting out, I run like back-to-back sets with people. I run like 6 games in a row, just back. And it's cool because like they understand, they don't know the matchup against my character. I don't know shit about them, so we're just playing, and it's like this weird understanding that we're learning from this experience.
Yeah. The reason I
also-
ask is because
sorry.
I just don't have the retention. Like, and I
Oh.
and I regret not pressing it. You know, the only time I ever saved is when when maybe I died and I was trying to get a move out that happened to be on the same button. And that's when
Yeah.
that's the only
Well-
time. And I watched the first set we ever did, which was Josie versus Devil Jin, and it had that that thing where it showed you to punish, and I was like, oh, this is really useful. I wish, but every time I play, I forget to press save.
Yeah, it's funny because like I end up recording a lot of our sessions, whether they're offline or
Yeah.
online. So I have the footage regardless if it's saved on the PS4 or not.
Yeah.
So I legit watch all. The only thing I don't get is to do the replay and look at the inputs, but it's like you
Yes.
can look that shit up. It doesn't
Yeah.
That's true too. That's true.
matter. Yeah.
I mean, it's also one of those things too. Like, if you're playing with the right crowd, and this is something I learned from being in locals, is like if you're like, because like I actually happen to just get lucky with the local crowd that I found, because we all want to get better Tekken. We had some pros in there, and that's after I went from Wednesday Night Fights and switched over to going to Tech City Tekken, where we'd be sitting there, we'd be doing moves, and it's like it'll probably most likely be in like the friendlies beforehand, where like, oh yeah, you want to watch out for that. That's this move, and it does this. It hits high. I was like, all right, cool. And then like if I do something like, what break is that? It's like, oh, it's a 1+2 break. So it's just like back and forth. And that actually brought a lot of it to like our lobby nights, where I start asking and telling you guys exactly how to counter a few things that I'm doing, and make sure that like I level up in that way where I give you all the tools that you should know to beat me. And now I have to fight against knowing that you know how to fight me with all these tools there.
I remember the moment when Chris, or no, when Mark ducked an electric, and Chris goes, "You can duck an electric." This changes my life. I'm like, how the fuck did you not know that's a high?
I mean, that's another thing
This whole
too.
time.
'Cause, like,
And it's
that-
funny though, because like when he said that,
Yeah.
he ducked 3 electrics like weeks before. So it's like,
like, how did
excuse
that
me?
escape you?
You must have probably just thought they whiffed or something like that. because-
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Like,
That's
that's
totally
the
funny.
animation.
Yeah, no, it is. And like, yeah, it's funny how, man, I played a Gigas the other day, and I was just like, I have no idea what this character is doing. Like, it's
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
And
Yeah. I mean, that's how.
Well, no one knows
that's
what
how it
Gigas
goes.
does. I don't think Gigas knows what he's doing.
No,
He's
Gigas
just-
has no
he's
idea.
just throwing out moves. Yeah, he's throwing out limbs.
Gigas
hoping
has
they
like
hit.
a lot of Marduk's game, but without like all the crazy throws. And then he
Yeah.
has like he literally has Juggernaut armor. That's the weird thing. Like the way you guys talk about Juggernaut armor, that's the actual time where it actually makes sense. I know, Seth, you fucking hate that term.
What the fuck is Juggernaut armor?
The fact that he can just walk up on you, just like walk straight at you, and you can't really do much. You can't hurt him. Yeah, he can just keep walking through. Blue's asking, what's our favorite stages? What's your favorite stage? And I'm guessing for
Kunimitsu
Tekken.
stage. Yeah, in Tekken, Kunimitsu stage. It's just
Kunimitsu
gorgeous.
stage. Oh
Hands
yeah,
down.
that's a good looking game. It's a good
It's my
looking stage.
favorite stage. Yeah, that's aesthetically. We're talking about like. Oh, okay. So Infinite Azure 2, the night version. That's one of my favorite stages too. Also, the song for that stage is amazing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Those two are my favorite stages aesthetically. As far as like competitively,
Infinite Azure 2.
alright, Chris, relax.
No, Infinite Azure
You-
1.
You need to calm down, Chris. I mean, that's not the point.
Yeah.
That and Mishima Dojo, those are my two favorite stages. Because I think Mishima Dojo is like one of my favorite stages in Tekken.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So those are two of my favorite stages.
Yeah, I like Mishima Dojo, and I also like Violet Systems. Those are like probably my two stages to go for. I mean, I pick random anyway, but like if I was to pick a stage, like for instance, if I go to train with a wall, usually my default is to go to Mishima Dojo just because I like that stage and that stage design.
Yeah.
But I also like Violet Systems because of the range of the stage. So that's a stage where I can practice wall-to-wall combos, but the longest version of the wall-to-wall combos as well. So yeah, those stages are just that's what it is for me.
Wait, which one was that one? Max wall to wall?
Violet Systems.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The last system is just a
Okay,
big
that's
ass
true.
box.
Yeah, it's the biggest box, I think.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
big ass. So is Mishima Dojo, right? It's just a big ass box as well.
Yeah, it's a big ass box, big ass square. It's weird.
Yeah.
Well, what are your favorite stages?
Oh, yeah.
What are your favorite stages, Amari?
I just like the. I don't even know what it's called. It's just the one where Leroy's song plays.
What was that called? We
That's
need
fair.
to go there more with Leroy because I want to hear that third round song.
Dragon's Nest, right? The
Dragon's Nest.
Oh, Dragon's
Yes.
Nest.
Yeah, Dragon's Nest. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
one of
actually. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was
And
gonna
then the
say-
geek stage,
Yeah.
KOF music plays. Yeah, it's
Oh,
Okay,
sure.
kind of
so
completely based on music.
I have a problem with Dragon's Nest. Like I like it; it's cool too. I hate how when someone falls, like the floor breaks, like the floor like cracks and
Yeah,
stuff.
the cracks.
It
and stuff.
looks terrible to me. It's just
So,
it doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. It just looks like. Go ahead.
I know. I'm just saying. I totally fucking agree. Like that one, and what's the one that's like in Italy or something?
Yeah.
does the same thing.
No, that's not that one. What the inside
Yeah,
one
yeah.
or the outdoor one?
The inside one.
Oh yeah, fuck that stage.
Yeah.
Fuck both those
It's
stages.
fucking weird. I hate it. It bugs me just seeing the floor just like up on the sides.
It's like
Mm,
it's like you had I don't know something fragile in the bottom, and then you have like cement layer underneath it. It's like why make this stage? Why would you put this here?
Why
Just
would
make it
we
solid.
fight here?
Like what the fuck? I don't know. It's dumb. Allow please fix that. Give us better stages.
I,
Get rid
I
of
would say
Hammerhead, please.
yodeling back. That one I liked. I don't know why they got rid of it with the sheep. It was so
The
good.
stage.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
You're not wrong. I didn't really plan on it, but I saw it and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this stage.
I just saw it recently in the Jofi tutorials, and then I was like, oh yeah, I just used to just play in my ear.
I
What'd you say,
mean,
Chris?
wait. Can you actually bring that song back? Because I saw in Chris's stream yesterday that you can like choose the song for different places, and like I think it has past Tekken versions, unless it was just part of the stage.
No, like he can bring it back. If you really want to hear that song again, you can at least hear the song again, Omari. But you wouldn't be able to like see the stage again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, because one of my favorite stages on Tekken 6 was the fountain stage, and like that was like my cousin's favorite stage. What did Seth just say to freaking Striker Man? Oh, never mind. Yeah, I agree. All right.
So Leo players have no soul.
Leo
Which
play-
might be.
Shit. Hey, Shrika, I got something for you.
Oh,
You got
no.
something else
You can bring back the music for other stages from the
Yeah.
old games if you like at least hear them again. But I do miss the aesthetic of the fountain stage from Tekken 6.
How do you bring it back?
You can go into like Jukebox, and then you can go to my
Oh.
playlist, and literally it'll have every single stage, every single main menu, and you can click in that, and then you can choose whatever song from Tekken 1 all the way to Tekken 7, including Tekken.
Wow.
You can also change them on certain stages. Like you can change like a stage to have that song when you're playing on it. I totally forgot what the fountain looked like, Chris, and then now that I'm seeing it, like that was a fucking amazing stage. The electric fountain.
Yep.
I wish they brought that back.
What's the stage called? I'm curious now.
Electric fountain.
Literally called Electric Fountain.
Yeah,
It's literally called
off the
Electric
floor.
Fountain.
That was
Yeah.
really
Just-
good. Yeah, lazy ass time.
In 6.
Oh.
I missed the stage from Tag 2 where you fought Unknown. I love that stage.
I miss Bruce Irvin.
Well, maybe he'll come back. Maybe he's that last character for this DLC pack.
The dream.
The dream.
Him or
Oh,
Chris?
man. Wait, what?
My bet is that it's either going to be Bruce or Christy.
You thinking Bruce or Chrissy? Yeah, I think so too.
I feel like with Falcon they're not bringing Bruce back.
If it's not Snake, I'm quitting the game. You can't have some shit like that at Evo and not be Snake the next DLC.
Oh
What the
yeah,
fuck?
the fucking like
What did they call mid
Yeah,
Tekken top 8?
yeah, Tekken Top 8. They had like the snake call. I was like, damn. Oh, it's
That was sick.
fake.
And then they were like, "There's a new character being released in the new stage," and it's like, "Oh, it's gonna be Snake, and this is probably gonna be Shadow Moses." And then it wasn't Snake or Shadow Moses. I'm like, well, fuck this game.
It was Falcon
Exactly.
with Forbidden Temple 2.
Fuck this
Isn't-
game.
Isn't Snake in this game? His name's just Dragonov?
pretty much.
It's an issue. Nice. And say this shit again.
Yeah, you know what? You can pick up Dragunov instead of Kazuya. That's another character.
That's
Why-
true.
I'm gonna mute you for 5 minutes.
Hmm?
I'm just kidding.
That wall running 2 is really good, man. It's easier. It's far easier to do than any electric.
Yeah,
Did you see? I
man.
was gonna play Dragunov. I'm not playing Dragunov. What the fuck?
Snake! That's Snake!
Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun,
yeah.
dun. We just have to inspire him a costume night. Oh, man.
Just create the dragon, make a snake costume for Dragunov, and then I'll get a button where I'll just play Shadow Moses' music while we're on the snow stage.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Dragunov for one day and drop him faster than Chris dropped Asuka.
Oh, damn. That's a Guinness World Record.
I'm gonna make the
Have you
costume
seen
and
Asuka lately, Chris? How she's doing?
Yeah. How's she doing in that ditch you left her in?
Yeah. Do you like give her water or anything? Or just...
you just wave food at her and be like, oh, I wish you could eat this.
Asuka's fine. She, you know what? I actually have a figure of Asuka in my house. I don't have a figure of any of those other characters. I'm always with Asuka.
Dusty?
Huh?
Is she Dusty? She been there a while.
How dusty's that thing?
She ain't gonna use them
Can
all.
you show it on camera, or do you gotta dust it off first?
Oh yeah, that kind of takes me because I think like whenever a fighting game comes out, like I kind of switch characters all the time because I think I just love characters. Like
Yeah.
I'll even watch these like movies with these people in it just because I just love these characters so much. Like I love that Street Fighter movie with Van Damme, but like yeah, Street Fighter 4 I played Fei Long, then Super came out. I played Makoto. Now 5 I play I played Rashid, and then after like now in the new season I'm playing Sakura. Like that's just something I like to jump around characters. I can't help it.
How do you
that's
take
why I play
on
Lolo.
learning new characters, man?
I just try to learn the basics, and the thing about I guess learning the mechanics that I was talking about is once you learn the mechanics, like the game's the characters are more transferable. Like there's probably certain things you should do that you can't do with the other ones, but you just try to use the appropriate tools, you know, like but you know sometimes I still fuck up and make mistakes. Like Joe, what happened? See,
Nothing, don't worry about it.
Don't worry.
Nothing happened.
Don't look at Discord. What? Don't look at the box.
Discord?
No, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Continue what you were saying. That's not-
Nothing. Even in the Tekken chat.
no, he didn't. Stop it, Chris. Stop.
Oh, Gray Fox. Yeah.
Oh shit!
It's gonna happen.
Gray Fox versus Quiet.
So you're a big Metal Gear Solid fan, huh? How's that?
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorite series.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's a great
Christian ruined
series.
it. I'm gonna burn
Nah,
all
he
my
made it
games.
better. That's amazing.
No, it's not.
I would take those mods, bro.
Oh, Tekken mods, man. I love Tekken mods.
So, wait, I'm gonna drop this. This
PC mod.
is. Here's the link,
mod
y'all, for in chat to see what we
Bro.
got in there.
No, stop it, Mark.
No. Hey, wait, it's there. It's there, man. It's there.
Anyways, the Tekken 2 mod for Kazuya mod on PC is
That's the
fucking
worst
sick.
one.
Alright,
I couldn't tell the difference because I don't think Tekken's changed much since Tekken 2.
Damn.
come on, let's talk about this.
So that's like, when's this podcast over?
When we out of
No,
here?
let's pass my shit. I don't have work tomorrow. I got work tomorrow.
Look.
I gotta go.
Like, oh shit. There's no watch out here, but I gotta go. If there was a watch, they would say that I gotta go.
Oh, look at that. It's brown o'clock. I gotta get out of here.
Woohoo! Brown o'clock all around.
Wow, I
Wait.
need to do this music
Wait.
thing.
So
Hmm.
Spraker, continue. Sorry, I interrupted you so that I control Seth, and it was 100% worth it. But please continue.
No, I mean, I was just saying, like, you try to like account for the characters' differences. Obviously, like your muscle memory is gonna betray you.
Mhm.
But, you know, like Josie has a 16 frame down forward one, but Leo has a 13 frame one, and I was trying to punish Blue with it the other day, and I'm like, you know, I must be really missing this timing, and it took me about like 6 times to realize, oh yeah, this frame rate is not the same. But yeah, so I generally like. I think when you kind of focus on the mechanics, you can kind of think of the characters in terms of their functions, and then I think that helps you like transfer things over a little bit better. I think one of the things I really recommend is always picking up a second character and
Mhm.
try to make that character as different as your first character, so that it helps you kind of have a better understanding of the game. Because when you only play one character, what's the phrase? When you only have a hammer, everything's a nail, right? So
Yeah.
like it makes it harder for you to really understand what makes your character good if you just play that one character. And when you play other characters, then you can kind of say, oh, okay, this is why this is a better tool. Like this is why walk speed on this character is better,
Mhm.
or this move is better, or this is not punishable, but this is like, and it kind of helps you build your game plan better. So I like it. I don't know. It's something that I think is really important, and I think it's important not to play like the same. Your second character be similar to your first character. So if you're like playing Ryu, like maybe try not to play Ken. Try to play somebody like Zangief or something, so that you can get a better understanding of the game as a whole.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And like that was something that I did in Blaze Blue. Like my main character in Blaze Blue was Noelle, but my second character was Rachel Alucard.
Hmm.
And Noelle is Rushdown, and Rachel's a zoner. And like playing a zoner as my second character really allowed me to kind of see the value in zoning, but also taught me how a zoner's mindset would think to stop a rushdown character like my main, which is Oscar. Which is Oscar.
Oh boy. I mean,
Yeah,
that
you
was
false
as crazy as
information,
they
bro. What
come.
happened?
Yeah,
Man, don't let Oscar hear you say that. She gonna think you're picking her up again.
Oh,
This
man.
information
You
is right there in the corner. Like,
That's just
you
rude to
fucking
Oscar.
teasing her?
It
Holy
was-
shit, bro.
Chris is coming back. Chris is coming back.
She's like excited. She's like, no, let me go back to this dusty ass shelf. Shit.
Yep.
Oh my god.
So, but yes, like it allowed me to like get in the mindset. So when I played Noelle and I end up fighting zoners, I'd have a better idea of how to deal with it because I played a zoner myself.
Mm.
And even the difference between like you guys know, I started playing Zafina, and playing Zafina after playing Julia feels very different, but it allows me to like kind of see, okay, this is the mindset behind this character. This is the reason that she has this tool is to stop this check, or she has this in order to discourage this check, and like you start to build a better understanding of the game at large when you pick up more than one character, and when those characters that you play are at least a little bit different than one another. So I definitely am of that same mindset as Straker, where if you can afford to make your second character different in some kind of way than your first, it'll also serve as more knowledge that will serve you well in the long run.
Yeah.
It's funny, just talking about that. I try to, you guys know, I'm trying to diversify my character roster, and I ended up playing all fucking Mishimas for whatever fucking reason.
But
Every
the
single
thing is,
Mishima.
you know how to play King, which I think is really helpful. And
That's
at
true.
least like
That's
even
true.
if you're not
Yeah.
even if he's not in like your active rotation right now, the time that you took to learn him like is still very beneficial to you.
Yeah.
Otherwise
because,
I would yeah.
yeah, well, Kazan King was my first character that I ever played in Tekken.
Mm.
That was the one. That's when I first played, and then I learned. That's why when we played the Pocket Knights and I played him, like I had that warm up period, and then I started playing really well. It's because
Yeah.
I played him before, but then I don't know, just playing Kazuya just felt different, and so it felt more rewarding with how complex he was
Yeah.
playing him and winning with him. That's why I
Yeah.
kind of like stuck to him.
Mm.
Versus like
Right.
King, it's the way I play King is very gimmicky and setupy. I honestly just didn't like it.
Yeah.
It just wasn't for me. Like I can do it, I just didn't like it.
Yeah, and part of that's part of the process too. Like figuring out which of the characters you are playing do you actually like, you know, their style and moveset the most.
Mhm.
And you know, now that you're adding Dragunov, like that's really gonna help diversify your
Oh yeah,
game.
totally. Totally. That's a
You gotta
good addition.
I don't know which one of us you're looking at. I'm assuming it's Chris.
You're looking at all of us. That's it right there. Just like,
Look at everybody now.
all three
Fuck.
squares, just over and over again. You.
All of you are gonna catch these eyes. That's all that's gonna happen. All of you are gonna catch these eyes.
Gosh, you memorize these words.
I definitely agree with what Amari's talking about with like learning different styles of characters, because like I definitely started to fall into I fell into different certain styles while picking up fighting games. Like before, I was basically a main character simp. Whoever the fuck the main character is, you know, Ryu, Soul Bad Guy, Jin, any just like who's the main character? I'll play them. Let's go. But it wasn't until I picked up starting to play as like Marduk, for example, who's a grappler type character, and diversifying like who I play as and changing around and just starting to like pick up characters because I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, I mean, I almost fell into that trap again where I was like, all right, I got Marduk. All right, now I got Ganryu. We're basically two grappler types with big counter hits and crazy ass launchers to go for combos and stuff, and like a grab launcher with like Ganryu has like the armored move from his stance, so 1+2 to throw you in the air to get the combo, versus like Marduk has like the dash forward 1+2. And then I was like, I've always wanted to learn Lei just because Jackie Chan was fucking amazing and I loved watching like all his movies. And I picked up Lei and I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. It's very different. He doesn't do much damage. And there's some like counter hit stuff, but I can change stuff around and move things. And then Kunimitsu comes out, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna learn Kunimitsu, who's very different also, because I started like I'm at the point where like I got a lot of the basic stuff down, but I gotta find some better combos because like it's gonna be one of those things where she has a lot of decent carry, but I need to learn that mindset more instead of just like being like, all right, I found this one mix-up combo that does really good things. Or I found this weird, stupid string of things I can do where I jump onto them and I do a low and I do down forward 2 to throw them to corkscrew and jump on them again to have like a stupid, like gimmicky loop of like knocking them on their ass. Yeah. And yeah, it's definitely far more beneficial to learn like different styles to get that perspective in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I was wondering about for you guys, though, is do you feel that you're playing characters that, like you mentioned Jackie Chan, and like that was one of the reasons you wanted to play Lei. Are you guys actually playing characters that kind of fit like fighting styles that you'd actually like, you know, like as far as like movies and stuff go?
Well, I think my character's moves are physically impossible. So This house I don't think is physically possible. So I don't know about that one. So we'll
Fair
just ignore
enough.
that one. I think electric is physically impossible too. I don't think unless I'm actually being electrocuted, that shit will not happen.
Yeah,
You
you
get
throw-
one
you
electric
mean
in
you're
your
not gonna
life?
just throw lightning bolts at people with like a uppercut?
Listen,
You
the
only
day
get
that'll
one
happen,
shot.
it'll be the dream.
What?
It'll also be the last day.
That's true. I could just learn karate. But
Yeah.
it's not the same without a hell stick or an electric. It's just regular ass karate.
Yo, man, all
It's
you gotta
not the
do
same.
is get an
Yeah,
engineering
yeah.
degree real quick. Learn how to make some like shock fist gauntlets so that when you do an uppercut, it hits that electric, like just shoots electricity out. Some dude
Oh,
learned how to
no.
do it with fire and became a firebender. You can do it with
Yeah, shoot.
electricity.
Make it voice activated too, so you have to go.
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah," and then it'll happen. Yeah.
So I'm gonna have like the gauntlet. I'm gonna have like the button on the fist.
Yeah.
So when I hit somebody, it'll say Dory and it'll light up.
Perfect.
Anime 2021. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. Shatter all expectations.
Yeah.
I'm a hell slip
Yeah.
and then break my ankle. Let's go.
Yeah, for me, yeah, I don't know. I fighting games. I think I just end up liking like 70% of the cast, and I tend to flex a lot. Like when I play games like Overwatch, and then I end up falling in love with a character because I play them. But I do have the kind of character that I tend to gravitate towards too, which it doesn't really have. It's not really in Tekken. It doesn't really work like that because I tend to gravitate towards the martial artist that like is wearing like a gi and doing like these like Chinese kung fu art based moves. But you know, in Tekken, everyone's doing martial arts. But in other games like Killer Instinct has like Kim Woo or
Mm.
Street Fighter has like Fei Long. It's a lot
Yeah.
more applicable. And you'll see
That's
me
true.
go to like Jam and Guilty Gear or Yuri and KOF for that
Okay.
reason.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think for me, it's not so much I pick characters because I like that martial arts style is something I'd want to do in real life. I mean, granted, Marduk does MMA, and I've learned multiple martial arts to learn some of those skills, but more for like a
Right.
defensive end. But like, and I mean, Lei I picked up just because like the Jackie Chan thing, and I loved, and it's something I would have wanted to do personally. But like, I think I pick characters that like vibe with like my mindset and my like how I decide to tackle like issues and stuff like that. Like Overwatch, my favorite character is Reinhardt, just because he's like, oh yeah, let's go, I'm gonna charge in, and then like, all right, now I gotta hold the shield. All right, now I got a hammer, I gotta hit everything with it, and that kind of stuff. And like you can see that with like Marduk and Ganryu, for example, where they're just like, let's fight and let's get in there. And even in like who do I pick now? Oh yeah, one of the characters I like in Street Fighter is Honda right now. That's who one of the last characters I picked up and started learning how to play as. Same thing was it was Honda and Zangief, which was kind of like a grappler thing, but also like more of that personality stuff. And before I really loved Soul Bad Guy, just because of the same thing, not just because he's like main character. But eventually I picked up Faust because he's super silly as shit, and I like
He's
that
great.
part of that personality. Yeah.
I just want to say, in Strive, I'm sad they're not bringing back my character,
Wait, who's your character?
Who's your character?
the pumpkin lady.
Oh, Jacko?
They're
Jacko?
gonna bring her back.
Oh, they're not bringing her back in Strive?
No, she's
We
not.
don't know
worth
yet.
it.
She was one of the greatest new additions. They probably make a DLC.
Yeah,
Show me
probably.
deal.
There's one more
Probably.
reveal, right? Unless they revealed them already. Raven or
I
Bust.
don't know.
I
Although I
feel like
must say,
characters are revealed now, but I think there's a cast of like 15 characters at launch.
Yeah.
But you know, like Arxis, they make such unique character designs. I feel like there's no way like they're not gonna bring Jacko back. I feel like people really like that character in that game,
Mhm.
so they just you'll have to wait for her most likely.
yeah, I shouldn't have to, but you know.
I mean,
There's Rev 2.
Yeah, we can play Rev 2.
Fucking Rev 2.
I have it. We can play.
Yeah, you
Yeah, I
have
thought it
PC?
too.
Actually, I have PS4. Just kidding. I have PS4. We're good.
Yeah, I have PC and PS4
You're
also.
ready to challenge me.
Yeah. So I don't like the characters that I play are kind of just like characters that I just kind of gravitate to as far as like the style for how they look. That's usually like the thing that gets me into a character first, and then after that, then it's the play style. And then if I like, if for instance, like I love Leona in King of Fighters, but she's a charge character, and charge characters aren't my style.
Yeah.
So like King of Fighters, I could like have 2 other characters on my team. But if it was just like a single character and that was all you had to work with, then Leona I wouldn't even touch, no matter how much I like the design of the character. So like I don't really play characters that are kind of mimics of the fighting styles that I do or that I like in real life. Because if that was the case, then I would pick a character that does Taekwondo, because that's what I did. Or,
I mean, you
I
don't
was a
like
big
Kim Kafan?
Yeah, right. Kim is dope though. KOF has like one of the coolest like general rosters like all around.
Yeah.
Like that cast,
100%.
you want to talk about like Straker was like 70% of the cast of like, of a game. Like King of Fighters is like 95% of the cast are characters that are cool that you can't you'd be okay like playing or maining. Because there's so many of those characters that are basically a crossover game with a bunch of main characters from all these other titles.
Yeah.
But yeah, like in games like Tekken, I kind of just gravitated towards like how easy is the character to use, like in the beginning for when I'm first starting, and then like the style of the character and how they look as well, even though they don't necessarily do like my favorite martial arts, which would be like Muay Thai or Taekwondo.
I think it's funny for me. I like playing Vega and playing Kaz. They're both momentum-based characters, so I think that's what I lean toward more, is being momentum-based. Because like, yeah, I don't know. It's just because like when Vega hits a knockdown, that's when his 50. I don't say his 50-50, but that's when his mix-up game is really scary, right? Because now you make your opponent guess. You can throw a meaty. You can do a. They have to guess what you want to do. I don't know. I guess Vega's not a good example of that, but yeah, Kaz is his off knockdown. I mean, you would just have like an open field of things you can do. It to me that's fun versus like having a set gameplay or set game plan. I think that's not for me. I like being able to like play the.
Kind of like,
go ahead.
no, I was saying kind of like the Vortex.
Yeah, I like the Vortex a lot. I think that's why like in Street Fighter specifically, I liked Akuma a lot.
Yeah.
Because he has a Vortex. So I think yeah, Akuma's also momentum based too, if you think about it. Other than his flowchartness in fucking 5.
Oh yeah.
Akuma's in Tekken.
That's true.
No, not this one. Not this one.
Not this Akuma? You don't like this Akuma?
No.
You don't like SF4 Akuma?
Anyways, yeah. I think I just lean toward momentum based characters and Vortex characters. I think that's more my playstyle. So
Okay. Interesting. So like talking about characters, we like what's everyone's top 3 waifus or husbandos in fighting games?
Well,
I'll say Zane's real quick because she put it. She said husbandos are Ragna, Ken from Street Fighter, and Jin. So
I was gonna
those
guess
are her husbandos.
wait, who from Street Fighter?
Ken Masters.
Ken Masters.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I wish like they kept a really good design on Ken, because there's some times where it's just been like, what y'all doing, Capcom? What y'all doing?
I like the Street Fighter 5 design because it's like finally different from like Ryu.
Every other. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's fair.
He's not like a clone of Ryu.
I liked the Alpha one just because of that hair that he had.
Yeah.
Where it's like tied at the end. That was pretty fucking dope.
Yeah, I mean, he had to give the bandana to Ryu, so.
It's true.
He couldn't afford another one, I guess. Huh?
But he's rich.
What'd you say, Chris?
Most of mine would all come from KOF.
I was
Like,
about to say that too. Yeah, mine too.
Robert Garcia is like #1 husbando right there. Like that dude, Robert Garcia, is amazing. He's so swag. This dude just like coming in here, just like kicking people, like fixing the jacket. Yo, like this dude Robert Garcia is like on another level. I every time I see Robert, I don't even play Robert Garcia, but when I see that man, I'm like, yo, you are 100%. And then Leona is like #1 waifu from like KOF title as well. Like that woman is just badass as hell, and I love it. And then I guess third, most likely it'd probably be Noelle. Like I love Noelle so much. Like that character just like clicked with me. So it's probably like my favorite fighting game character of all time. So like yeah, she's probably #1.
Nice.
That's fair.
Very fair.
I think for me, Kazuya is probably like my favorite husbando. Like I've liked him since Tekken 2. So I like his character. I like his story, as tragic as it is, and that family, dispute being as bad as it is.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite characters. Terry Bogard from King of Fighters is one of my favorite characters too. Terry Bogard is bad. I love the animes, the movies. They were so good.
Yeah.
I remember playing King of Fighters, like Capcom vs. SNK with my friend. Like I would just, when I had the meter, I would just do Power Geyser the whole time. I wouldn't even like try to footsie it out. I would just do it. I'm like, fuck it, I'm doing it. It looks cool.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Are you okay? Buster Wolf.
Buster Wolf.
So those are my two husbandos. Waifus would be Palutena from Smash, because I'm a filthy casual.
She dope though.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I didn't really play Smash that much, but then playing Smash Ultimate and trying to play Swordies, because I play a lot of Sword Characters in Melee, and they didn't feel the same in Ultimate. I didn't play any other version of a Smash up until Ultimate. And then I played Palutena, and I was like, this character's easy mode. This character's actually stupid. Like, what the fuck? But I like Palutena's design. I think she's a well-rounded character, so I really like that. Do I have any other waifus? I think Mai Shiranui, just because, it's Mai Shiranui.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's it. I think I had another one, but I couldn't think of it. But that's some shit.
I gotta jump in. I have one more. Hitomi from DOA. Because
okay,
it's pretty good.
That's pretty good one. That's a pretty good one right there.
Pretty good.
Oh man, like if we're gonna go husbandos, I mean, I'm looking down because I put everyone on my water bottles. John Bane.
You cheated, Mark.
Huh? What was that, Chris?
You cheated.
I'm cheating because I have him here. John Bane, #1 husbando in all fighting games. Darkstalkers, Werewolf, Bruce Lee. How could you not fucking love that? It's a werewolf Bruce Lee. King is actually one of my top husbandos in fighting games also, because like his style. I mean, even King 1 being like charitable and like having the orphanage, and then King 2 story coming in trying to keep like Marduk and Armor King as friends and all that stuff. Big Preach Blue, Hail Hydrate. And then like waifus, #1, just because she's one of my #1 waifus in general in anime, is Android 18. Like she's like she's one of them big ones out there, and just because she's in fighting games, she has to be on that. Another
That's
one
true.
from Darkstalkers though is Hishenko. She's another fighting game waifu. And finally, it was tough because I was like, it's between like 3 almost, but really Judy Hahn. Judy Hahn being like the first villain introduced into Street Fighter, as a first female villain and the first Korean character in the Street Fighter series. And it's kind of the Taekwondo thing, and it's kind of my like anime archetype of the type of like anime chicks that I tend to like be like, oh damn, she dope. Evil, crazy ass looking.
She has a dope design, by the way.
She does.
Yeah,
she has a fucking dope ass design.
Art wants Jerry to step all over him. And
That's rude.
disagree with you there. I am with you. And I must say, Angel said in chat, and this is where I fucked up. Cammy, from Street Fighter, is waifu too. S tier, 100%. I switched to her while playing Street Fighter when I was learning the game, because I realized Vega was fucking stupid. I was like, you know what, I need a better character. So I played Cammy, who was broken.
Bro.
So,
You're not do that in Tekken?
Street Fighter. Wait, what? What do you say? No, say it
What'd
again.
you- What?
I need you to repeat.
You said you switched characters in Street Fighter because Vega was stupid, and I'm just wondering. So, but you're not willing to do that in Tekken?
Sorry, I didn't
Mhm.
hear Chris. What do you say? I didn't hear Chris.
But yeah, like,
Did you
dude.
mute him, Mark?
no. See, I got him loud and clear. I know what you're talking about.
Oh, I think I muted him by accident. My bad.
Oh shit. Well, damn. Dude, I remember in 8th grade because there was like a round table pizza across from my school, and after we had like junior high dances, everyone would go there to wait to get picked up, and there was a Street Fighter 2 Turbo cabinet there, and like that was the first time a bunch of guys saw Cammy, and so they all kept picking Cammy to fight and win because she turned around in her victory pose.
Yeah, butt crack, yeah.
I mean, all booty.
That's how I got introduced to DOA. My friend in elementary school, you know, he had DOA too, and they had that stage with the fan where it would blow up the you know.
Terrible.
That's fucking amazing. Oh man. But yeah, Cammy's one of those. What was that?
I was asking about Strikers. You haven't heard of his yet.
Oh, I got one waifu, and that's Yuri Sakazaki, also from KOF. I thought about this, and I was like, yeah, there's no one else even comes close when it comes to her. I think we probably have two daughters. Sakura and Makoto from Street Fighter. Those are
They're not even waifus. They're just the daughters.
Just
They're
daughters.
No, yeah, no. I mean, those two are too adorable to me for me to consider.
That's
them
fair.
as-
They're like
That's
they're
fair.
like the little sisters or the daughters. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would praise them and take them to martial arts practice and everything like that. And, but yeah, Yuri is that's my cutie.
Nice.
That's fair. That's fair. I dig it.
But if I had to pick another one, it'd probably be like Jam from Guilty Gear also.
That's a good one.
Mm,
That's a good one.
yeah.
But, and Husbandos,
Craig David.
Daniel Craig.
It's clear as can
Daniel
be
Craig.
in the room.
No, this is for work. Yeah, probably like
I'll say.
I like Wang
Fair,
Tang
Angel,
from
fair.
Power Stone. Like,
Yeah.
and Kyo wouldn't be bad either. Not I think KOF. That definitely makes
Don't you?
sense.
Don't you have a thing for Leo Whitefang?
No, I don't have a thing for Leo. I just like
Yeah.
playing it.
Yeah, Chris, he almost got caught. He didn't want to deny it at first. You see that?
Yeah, he's like,
Oh.
He said, "Shit, no,
wait,
not
Leo.
me. Not me."
Well, no, I thought you were saying Leo, and I was like,
He's about
and then I
to.
thought Tekken, and you said White Fang, and then I was like, oh yeah, that guy. No, that guy's cool, but no. I just like that he, when he wins, he has all those people that kind of support him and like he's
Yeah,
just in charge. I'm trying to think. Yeah, Ryu would probably be a good husband though, also.
Why? Because he's never home.
Nah, because my man gets the W's, man. What
my
else do
man,
you
stay
That's fair.
moving.
need?
Wait, so that way you can also have like Ken constantly in your house because he's the one that's actually supporting you.
No. Yeah, I mean Ken's got the money also, so
That's
I mean
true,
I'm with
Hey,
Ken.
man.
That's a good pick, man. He's winning
Yeah.
those tournaments in the U.S. and supporting his wife Eliza.
Mhm.
Well, I guess Zayn is gonna have to like murder or something like that. But yeah, I mean, if I want Yuri, I got to go through Robert Garcia, so that's gonna be hard.
That's true. That's true. That's fair.
Man, I
And
love
then-
that too.
And
Wait,
then
wait. What's
Rio,
this, Seth?
Rio as her brother and Takuma as her father. Like I'm like shit, man. It's gonna be a hard battle.
That's true. That's true. You gotta fight through them to get her.
Oh,
Yeah,
Seth,
Mark,
There's a
don't retry it.
there's a
I've read it.
bunch of-
We've read it.
No,
See it, man. I mean, it's been mentioned on stream.
I don't know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
What's
I
up
see
with this
nothing on
body
screen.
pillow?
Yeah, just
Oh,
show
you
us the
see
side
it,
without the stains,
Yeah. Show
I
us this.
can't show it to you. It's not safe for work.
Nah, body pillows have two sides. There's a safe for work side, the non safe for work side.
Actually, my
That's what you think.
Oh. All right, who is it? Who's on there? Tell about
Yeah,
all
yeah,
three.
Amara, your body pillow is infinitely better than mine. I'll tell you right now.
No, man.
I want to know who it is. I don't even
Yeah.
see it.
Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
on there.
He doesn't
Nah,
have
Don't worry
curve.
about it. Don't worry about it.
If you
One
tell,
day
I'll tell.
I'll think about showing you guys. Okay, one day I'll think about it.
All right, man.
Oh, wait, we gotta make a trip to Sacramento.
Oh,
No, you
yeah.
don't.
Y'all just
Y'all
gonna
can
be
stay where
chilling.
you're at. You know,
Social
if you
distancing.
come to my
guys.
house,
Social
I'm
distancing.
calling the cops.
You ain't gonna let us. You ain't gonna let us in. You ain't gonna let us stay over. You ain't gonna invite us in for tea. That's rude.
That's
Hell
straight
no.
up rude, man. That's straight up rude.
I don't know y'all. I know y'all here, but when you come to my house, I don't know y'all.
You don't want
I
to.
don't know these people. They come to my house, they
don't
ask me
wanna see
randomly for a fucking body pillow. What the fuck?
I got
Those
that.
other posters on the other side of the wall. You don't want to see those, Chris.
No. There's a reason it's this angle.
Fucking Blue, don't do that.
Oh damn! So you got an extra firm Kazuya body pillow, is what you're saying?
Blue, that's
Is
why I
that
won't show
why?
it.
Oh my god, I need to get him that for Christmas.
No,
because
no, don't do it.
That body pillow. He feels that electricity inside of him.
That would explain a lot, actually.
Oh yeah.
That's how I jumpstart my day.
No, I get you.
So you're saying it's pretty shocking?
It's electrifying. Oh my god, fuck you guys. What am I doing? No, take it
Oh,
back. Take it
Yoko
back.
from Gurren Lagann. I don't know why I
We
heard
take
that.
those.
That's a good one.
Oh, shut up, Chris. We don't take those.
We take those. We
We don't
take
take
those.
those,
Though.
No, we don't take those.
No, we take those. That's here. It's here. Oh fuck.
I hate all of you. I hate all of you.
No, you gotta show us in Tekken.
Like Kazuya body pillow, man.
Yeah.
I'm not showing y'all shit. And don't come to my house.
Is it Kazuya with like the jacket and looking the suave Kazuya, or is it the like shirtless? I got the pecs
It's
Kazuya.
second two. It's
No,
second
you know
two.
it's the pecs, Kazuya.
You already told him.
Only God.
Yeah.
His body pillow has extra firm, like little pillows on the chest and the pecs,
Yeah.
so you can like
It's like you're so rough.
and that
All
six
those
pack.
Has, like, the button, so when you squeeze it, he says Doria.
Yeah, it's at the right spot. He goes, oh
Oh, no, he don't say Doria. He says Dory.
yeah. Yeah.
Then I
The
feel the
button-
shock of it.
Yeah.
So,
Good husbando. Terry Bogard would be the best husbando, actually.
see?
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. He raised
Yeah.
he raised his enemy's fucking kid. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Rock Howard, huh?
Yeah, Rock Howard. Yeah.
Oh, I got another husbando. I don't think anyone. I feel like only Omari knows this guy, but Swale Mela. That's my other husbando. You guys, that was from KOF Maximum Impact. That game.
Oh, yeah.
Freaking
What? Wait. Hold on, I gotta look this up. What?
Swale
Yeah, they were.
Mela.
Yeah.
It's his name is spelled weird. I think Straker's line looking it up for you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hit you with the Google search, and I'll put them in both chats.
Who's your guys' favorite video or fighting game villains? That's what I want to know. I have my list.
Okay.
Like
That's
I
a
like
good
Chrysalid
question.
from the King of Fighter series. I
I
like
always
Chrysalid.
love. Wait, who'd you say?
Chrysalid. I think he was in 98 or 99.
Mm.
I'll link him. He was
I always
who
love-
Kay was made from,
Oh,
or he was a clone, or one of them was a clone.
interesting.
I liked his moveset. It was really sick.
Yeah.
And then I liked his character design overall.
Mhm.
That and Rue. I like a lot of the King of Fighters fighting game villains. I
Yeah.
really like all of the designs.
That's fair. I like a lot of those villains. I mean, of course, I already mentioned Judy,
That's true.
so that's one of my favorites. But now I gotta think. What
I'm
are the
thinking about these
ones that-
bosses. Like, I feel like I hated these bosses so much I couldn't develop love for them. Like, I think about fighting Eno in
Mm,
Guilty Gear,
Mm.
and I'm like, yo, I can't even. I hate you so much. Like, screw you. Seth in Street Fighter 4, he was a jerk.
Yeah.
you know,
I think
that other chick. What was that other chick's name from Dead or Alive? The green one, Alpha 152.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
And then like Rugal, like these bosses are jerks.
Yeah, they are.
Rugal was fucking sick though. From King of Fighters,
oh
his
god,
design
I
was
hated
sick.
fighting him.
I gotta say, oh, what's up?
No, he said-
No, go ahead.
Oh,
No, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that Amari didn't like Rugal. That's what I
Oh
was
yeah.
gonna
Okay.
No,
I gotta say,
I have sorry.
oh, no, go for it. My mind's just a stupid story about
say.
No, I was just gonna say I've always loved him Bison, and I think what like Chris said with the villains, that you end up not liking them, but like because of all the movies in the cartoon with the yes, and like you know,
The memes
and
and
everyone
shit.
knows, yeah, the animated movie was great too, but that live action one with Julia Paul or I forgot his name now, but yeah, he was just great.
Like Raul Julia.
Raul Julia, yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Because
started thinking second characters.
for you, it was the day that you lost your family, but for me, it was a Tuesday.
Face the mighty Bison.
God damn.
Psycho Crusher.
Not mention the M Bison from the Legend of Chun Li because that Bison was trash.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I didn't
yeah,
know.
he
That's
was.
what I did not
I don't
watch.
watch it. Actually, Chris,
don't
if you
watch
want to
that.
be a masculine, watch it 100%.
Watch that movie.
I watched it because I like I watched it because I like the main actress because she was from Smallville. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I haven't seen it in a while. I
Yeah.
wanted
same.
to watch it, and then the whole
Kristen
movie
Cr-
was trash.
Mhm.
I mean, that's how
Well,
all
I-
fighting game movies were, except for like the first Mortal Kombat movie. That's
And
it.
then let's not mention the travesty of the King of Fighters movie.
That one I did not watch.
How about that
that was
DOA
like-
movie, though?
I didn't watch that.
It might have been better than the King of Fighters movie. That much.
Oh my god,
I mean,
they're so bad.
I mean, that KOF Fighter movie though. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the Tekken movie. The Tekken movie.
They're both bad.
They were terrible. Those outfits were on point though. In Tekken, they at least had their outfits right.
Yeah, but come on. Dude, you can't understand it. Oh,
Mortal
God.
Kombat was a very good video game movie. I wish people would have taken that approach, but I feel like every time they make a video game movie, and this is on a tangent,
Yeah, no,
they
it's
just they try to they can't stick to the original storyline for obvious reasons because it's too long. It's too. They try to change it, and it's like these changes aren't good. This rewrite of the story is ass.
Mhm.
It's a cash in.
Wasn't it like one of the animes, or maybe even the movie, that made like Zangief a villain,
Yeah.
and that's why he's a bad guy in like Wreck-It Ralph, when really Zangief is a hero in the games.
But you are not that guy.
Yeah, he's not a bad guy. Like he fucking trains Rainbow Mika, for crying out loud.
He's,
Yeah. That was one of the weirdest things in movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, going back to Eno, I actually didn't know much about that character, but I had like there was a small like infatuation with that character because at my first Fanime, I saw a girl cosplaying as Eno, and she went to wave to her friend, and like the jacket was connected and it popped up, and let's just say I saw a lot more than she was intending anyone to let's see. So after that, I was just kind of like, oh, that's a dope character.
Bro, like I had a similar experience. I had a anime too. This girl was
Yeah.
cosplaying as my shirt, and she was not wearing anything underneath the thing. So she went
Yeah.
to turn. And woo! Woo, child.
Whoops. Yeah. So
It was not
anyways.
my fault that I saw it. All right. I'm
Yeah.
Of course,
making
you just
a-
happened to be there.
It just
Yeah.
conveniently revealed itself to me, and I was like, oh,
Exactly.
okay.
I mean, I was going up the escalator when it happened. I just happened to be like, "Oh, that's Eno." Oh, that's a lot of Eno.
That's a lot of Eno. You're seeing a lot of Eno today.
Yeah.
More than you were
we got
Mark?
go.
Mark, listen, we take those.
Yeah, we take those. Those ones we'll take.
I
Uh,
want to play Bloody Roar.
oh, bloody
Bro,
hell.
that game was fucking wild.
That game was crazy. I want
That's
them
a
to do a
fighting
remake
game.
on that. Yeah.
I never got to play Bloody Roar. I played the original Killer Instinct, but I never played Bloody Roar.
Killer Instinct's so good.
Killer Instinct's really good. I love a Killer Instinct.
I mean,
Yeah.
you guys are gonna play on Thursday, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I haven't practiced yet.
me neither.
I'm pretty sure no one has.
We're busy. But yeah, I think
Wait,
this is.
do you guys all have it on PC?
Yeah,
Oh shit!
you should be able to play it on PC. It's pretty old.
Dude,
Somebody's already.
this laptop is 13-inch, like super small.
Oh,
I basically got
shit.
it so I could do writing. It's
oh,
like,
okay.
Man, those two.
My
like
bad.
even right now, I have to have you guys on a second monitor because if I had you on my regular monitor, it would be like wigging out.
Oof. You need to pee,
So,
Did
man.
you buy it from a pawn shop? What happened?
What happened, Seth?
Buy it from a pawn shop? What happened?
Damn, PC Master Race. Yo,
Seriously.
Chris, Bloody Roar was made by 8 Inc.
18?
Yeah, they did Fate Unlimited Code.
The Fate video game, the Fate fighting
Yeah,
game.
the
Oh,
Fate
shit.
fighting game.
That's pretty sick.
Yo, if you guys haven't looked at Fate Unlimited Codes, like maybe I need to drop a video in the Discord, but you guys need to go watch at least like a fight of this game. This game is so stupid. You think MVC is dumb? This game is just like one touch, and it's not even like the damage is that big, but the combos are so long. So you're just sitting there in this combo. It's kind of like the Hoto no Ken game.
Yeah.
And you're just getting juggled and juggled
Just juggle
and
forever.
juggled. Ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right.
They
I
also
think,
made Battle Stadium DON.
what was that?
No, another fighting game we played in college, Battle Stadium DON. They also made that. It was like a PS2 like Jump Force, but back then.
I gotta see this. DON. Oh
Man. That game.
yeah.
They also made Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Holy shit, man!
They made
I
a
need
lot of
these
games.
people in my life. Yeah.
We'll probably try and find something from them that we could play together on some Thursday night. But
Yeah.
this seems like a good place to end the night. You guys got anything, any last words of wisdom or anything before we head out and do this again like next month sometime?
I don't think I have to say it's free Kazuya.
That's fair. That's fair.
You
The
get
last, the last thing that I just have to say is just that like fighting games are great. Like I love fighting games because of the things they can teach you about life. But even in this case, fighting games brought this group together. So like I will probably play fighting games for as long as I am able to draw breath or as long as my fingers work.
Yeah.
So, and I would definitely encourage the people that are in the chat that love fighting games, that want to get better at them and to keep playing them, to just keep playing because, with time, it'll get easier and easier. So, keep doing it.
I agree.
That's true. Yep. Yep, I agree. Yeah.
I think that one girl is trying to get us to start playing MOBAs instead of fighting games.
I mean, I like MOBAs. I used to play Dota. But damn, Dota takes so fucking long. You get a match a night and that's 2 hours right there.
Yeah, that's it. Did you get better? Are you winning, son?
Are you winning, son? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll let you know when the match ends.
I'll let you know when it's over.
Yeah.
Oh, goddamn. But yeah, I want to thank everyone out there for hanging out, chatting with us, talking in the chat, hanging out. Shout out to the Jingle Bros.
They work real hard.
From Rose Reserve. Yeah, they work hard. Those guys work hard. I want to thank you guys and Zane for hanging out, being part of the podcast, and being part of the fighting game. Yeah, it's fun. Can't wait to do this again next month.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, this is cool.
Yeah.
I'm always down to hang with you guys.
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
same.
All right. And let's see what that goes on to. Oh, yeah. Big
Later,
preach out
guys.
there. Oh, later, man. To Rose Rev for all the bits you dropped tonight.
Pass me a sensory.
Especially
What, you
that
think I'm just giving
next
these
30 you
away?
dropped. Big preach out there.
not.
What else we got? Oh, of course, I can't forget Needs Adjusting for the 10 gifted subs. Big preach also to Mighty Matt for the follow,
What, you think I'm just
and
giving these
Archaea for the
away?
follow from last night that I didn't get to see.
'Cause I'm
Or
not.
shout out to Big Preach to Grad also for introducing me to Seth, actually, and for the bits.
Baldy, pass me a sensor beam.
Yes,
What, do
sir.
you think I'm just
All right.
giving these away?
Thank you all. Have a good night. Take
And
care.
the beautiful faces.
Because I'm not.
Yeah.